What's up, people? It's your man, Black Cobra, back once again with the Wheel Life Show. That's right. Talking all things PEV in the world right now. There's a lot going on, a lot of updates. People have been sending me updates, different areas, updating their rules and laws. And today we got somebody from the UK who can fill us in on what's going on over there as well. Although he ain't there right now, he's on his world tour as usual. He's in Shanghai. We over here living in this country. We think, oh, he's in UK. He's already doing big things. No, he in Shanghai. He's like even like living his best life. But y'all know who I'm talking about. The one and only Afeez.
Oh, thank you for having me on. That is such an introduction. I wish life was that simple and that nice, but no, thank God, it's all good. I take the lesson. I take the lesson.
That's right. All blessings. All blessings. Yes.
Yeah.
It is
Mm,
crazy, man. I
mm.
love you, brother. You always doing great things for us
Thank
in
you,
the
man.
community. And I always appreciate your positivity as like me.
Thank
And
you.
and so I'm glad to have you. Thank you for jumping on again with me.
Thanks for
Y-
having me.
Yeah. So I in that intro, I talked
Yeah.
about Shanghai. So
Yes.
what do you got going on in Shanghai right now, and how long you been there? What's going on? Talk to us real quick.
Yeah. So it's well, to be honest, it's not even that spectacular. It's not like I'm doing anything of of shattering. But so I have family in China. So occasionally I will go to China and go chill with them, and I'll use the opportunity to also speak to the manufacturers as well.
Mhm.
Um, but this time around, I stayed a little bit longer. It's just that time of the year, the summer. The summer is Shanghai. It's not like so. If Marty is listening to this, remember when we were in China and he was like, "Oh no, like China is more than just bigode." That area is a bit,
Mhm.
it's not the best,
Yeah.
but there are many places in China that are very good. The living standard is pretty high, even though it's quite cheap over here as well. So it's not like I have a lot of money and I'm just living living large. It's actually quite cheap to be here.
Yeah.
I'm a cheapskate.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here, trying to save
Okay.
money. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
Fair
yeah, but
point.
yeah,
Fair point.
Shanghai is good, but I'm mostly here for family.
Okay. Okay. So in case you guys now I know everybody in the chat that's in right now, and shouts out to you guys. We're gonna roll through everybody. I appreciate you guys for jumping in early and being here. But in case you
Mm.
guys don't know, this is a Fees K of E-Rides, and E-Rides is one of the premier distributors of EUC equipment. But not just EUC, you also do other things as well, right?
Yes. So, pedals, so accessories for electric unicycles. I'm gonna go inside right now and show you, the jacket, which we're making yours, by the way, the rock
Yes.
and that protective. Yeah, your one is a special green because I know you like your
Yes.
green in a certain
Yes.
way to pop.
The green and black,
So
baby.
yeah, exactly. So we we do safety gears now. So with the gloves, with the Rock and Neck jacket, which is a kind of a sub brand that we have for protective clothing that we just launched. And we also do obviously accessories for electric unicycles, pedals. We also sell parts as well. So if you want any sort of main board, for example, spare parts, we also stock those too. So yeah,
So that jacket you're talking about. So the red and
yeah,
black one that you've been wearing, is that the jacket?
that's the one. That's the mesh. Yeah, that's the mesh one.
Okay, so I
Yeah,
can pull that up while you since you're talking about it. So you guys can see that here. He's rocking that
yeah,
in that photo that I used for my advertisement. You can see him sitting on his wheel. That's the jacket he's talking about. So it's
yeah,
like a lazy rolling type jacket. It has that protective gear inside so that you can see exactly, you can ride like you want to, be comfortable, but you can also be protected. So this is the jacket he's talking about here. In case you guys were wondering what he was saying.
yeah.
Um,
The mesh one is really good because summer is coming, right? So you want to be protected, but still be able to have some, some breathability, but also look good too. So I've been testing the jacket personally. You remember, I mean, 6 months ago when you were in
Yep.
China, I've been wearing it since then. So I've been testing it, giving them, the manufacturing partner feedback, what I like, what I don't like. So it's been improved,
Yeah.
even from 1 6 months.
Okay.
That, yeah, yeah, it's really cool. It's a new sort of avenue that we pivoted into, right? Because normally, we sell EUCs and it's all about pedals, but now we now have gloves, which has been on the market for nearly 2 years now, and
Yeah.
now we go into the protective top as well. We're rocking that. Yeah, it's an interesting time.
So we now, first of all, shouts out to Showtime. What's up, girl?
Oh, she's here. Hey, hey.
She's in the chat, and of course, she jumped in right at the right moment. Red and black is the best. Whatever.
But now the red and black, it does pop. It does
Yeah,
pop.
those are her colors. She loves that. Uh, so real quick, Ricardo, appreciate you being in here. Dale's in here. We got Green Master Mike. We got Ben is in here. We got Spartacus in here. We got the one and only Sensei Vegan. What's up, brother?
Oh, sensei.
Yo, Vegan's in the house. Stan is in the house. Stan the man is in the house. Appreciate you guys for jumping in and coming through. But you just mentioned something there, man. That is
Mm.
crazy. Those gloves are yours, yo.
Oh yeah.
If you guys haven't used these E-Rides gloves, you're bugging. Like these are the protective thing right now. Like I went out and wore these things and I was like, okay. Now, shouts out to Afeez. I appreciate you, brother, for bringing these through. He brought them. Um, he sent me a pair and then he brought me a pair in China and he had
Yeah.
me like shook because not only does he have the Max P1 gloves, which are incredible and have a little mesh so they breathe a little bit. But then he
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
the Iron Fist gloves, and he knows when
Oh,
he
that.
said Iron Fist, I lost it. I was like, oh yeah, I want those, because just the name alone.
Yeah.
The Iron
Iron
Fist
Fist.
gloves are the same glove, but the winterized version.
Yeah.
So it has on the thumb you have a wiper you can wipe your goggles off. It has all the
Yeah.
protection on the fingers, and it's
Yeah.
insulated, like mad
Yeah.
insulated for the winter. I rode
Yeah.
and it was like I don't know 20 degrees or below, and with the wind chill it was even colder. And we were riding, and I was like, I don't even feel my hands. Like my hands are not affected by this cold
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
They
I
are
mean,
incredible.
I really appreciate that. It takes a lot of, sometimes you think about an idea and you think, wouldn't it be awesome if you just had a glove that was properly insulated, had this,
Mm-hmm.
feature, but also, you got wipers as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the entire development life cycle took longer than expected. We had
Mm.
several versions that we sent out to some customers that wanted to test it out, and they gave us feedback. Then when I sent one to you as well,
Mm-hmm.
you said, well, this is not, I mean, you didn't say it wasn't quite right, but you gave me feedback, which
Mm-hmm.
actually meant that the final version I sent to you was a better developed, a lot more thought process has gone into it as well.
Mm-hmm.
But even down to the stitching as well, the kind of thread that
Yes.
we use for the stitching, we've had to improve that, based on feedback, because there's some pressure points. So, everyone has different, hands, right? Some have got bony hands, and it depends
Mm-hmm.
on how tighten your fist. So, in certain aspect of gloves, if you don't have all of the right stitching in the right place, the stitching will start to come out and start to kind of break apart. So it's all those little things that most people don't think about that I now realize. Making gloves is not easy.
No.
Making any glove is easy, but making the right kind of glove that people will say that is a good glove is hard.
Well, it's
It's
because it's
hard.
not just a good glove. It's a well thought out specific glove
Yeah.
made by EUC Rider. That's the
Yeah.
key. A lot of times we get gear that's adapted from other things, and that gear, because it was adapted from other things, it does not have exactly what we need. It has like
What we
close
need.
to what we need, but not exactly what we need. This is
Ex-
different. this,
Yeah.
you know what we need because we told you, and you're like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's change this, let's change
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
man, like I said in the video, guys, I made, I did a video talking about these gloves specifically, and I wasn't just doing it because I know Afeez, and it nothing to do with it. I had been looking high and low, and I spent hours online trying to find a glove that was
Mm,
warm so that I could wear
mm,
it because I'm in Massachusetts and the weather here is freaking unbelievable, up and down and up and down and
mm,
cold and hot and rainy and wet.
mm,
So I said I need a good glove, but I
mm,
also need wrist protection, and I also
mhm.
need, in case I fall, I need that slide protection. And then I'm like, yeah, but then taking them off in the winter to try and mess with my phone is a pain in the. So I was like, okay, so you did the finger thing, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
if it's cold out and your goggles fog up, I was like, what? I didn't even think about the
And the
wiper thing. I was
wipers as
like,
well.
yo, that was crazy. When you
Yeah.
fall and the thing on the finger, I was
Oh yeah, the
upset.
pinky.
Yeah, I was upset because it's red. So that was the
Yeah.
one thing I was like, "Ugh, I wish it wasn't red. But
Yeah.
I like it because we, like I said, in China we had somebody fall while we were there and they were racing, and he had
Mm.
his pinky got caught, and luckily that little
It
piece
had the
that they
gloves.
have on the gloves helped him. And he
Mm.
said to us, while I was standing next to Afeez when he said it, he said, "Man,
Yeah.
I might have broke this finger. Yeah, I think the glove saved me. I feel like I would have broke the finger." And I'm like, wow, okay,
Mm.
okay, that was crazy. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Thanks. I appreciate that.
but while we're talking about the gloves, I wanted to
Yeah.
bring those up and key in on those. So just so you guys know, tonight Afeez said by the end of the show, we're gonna give
Yeah.
away a pair of these gloves. So if you were thinking about getting these gloves, stay tuned because we're gonna give away a pair of these gloves on the show tonight. So stay tuned for this later on, and we're gonna do it completely random, and we'll do the randomizer so we can, you'll pick a number and we'll pick and let the randomizer see who gets the winning number. So stay tuned for that later on. So
Yeah.
I think I want to get into the nitty gritty.
Okay.
Um,
Let's
shouts
do
out
it.
to Ronan. I see Ronan. Oh, Turbo's here. Turbo's here too.
Oh,
Shouts out to
Towers there.
Turbo.
Oh wow.
Yo,
The
Turbo's my
OG.
man. We ain't seen Turbo in a minute. Yo, Turbo, say hi to
Hey,
Chrissy
Turbo.
for us. Good to see you. Sorry
Yeah.
that I haven't grabbed the chats here, but he's saying hi to everybody else in the chat. So I want to talk about what's going on in the world over there and in the UK and stuff as far as riding is concerned. I know
Mm.
the last time we spoke, you talked about the fact that in a lot of places it's illegal for you guys to ride now, and there's
Mm.
there's places that you can't really outwardly just go out and be wild. You got to be real quiet and like be secretive, or you're gonna get caught and
Mm.
get your stuff taken. So talk
Mm.
about that right now because I keep getting questions in my DMs about that and how
Yeah.
things are going.
Well, I mean, just to summarize it, it's nothing has changed. It is still illegal to ride in public, places. On private lands, you can ride. Some riders will put their electric unicycle in the car and drive to the forest somewhere where there isn't that much public activities and just ride. And I think that's probably the best way in
Mm-hmm.
which people are enjoying their wheels.
Gotcha.
Do people still ride on the street? Of course they do, but they'll be taking a chance. Now,
Mm-hmm.
in most cases, when police will see you, they'll probably, you know, they know you're doing something wrong. But as long as you're not behaving irrationally or kind of being a menace to society, they will
Mm-hmm.
leave you be. But they do
Mm-hmm.
have the right to stop you, and if they do, they've got the right to take it off you. And if
Oh,
you happen to have your 4,000 pounds
oh,
Sherman Air, they've got the
oh,
right to take it off you. but
oh
that
no.
but it does happen. It doesn't mean that it happens all the time, but they do have the right to take it off because that is the law.
Oh,
Because to be able to ride on the road, you must have insurance because every car, every vehicle should have insurance. And we cannot get insurance because these things are not legal.
yeah. No one
So
wants
just
to
to put it
insure
out there.
these. Yeah.
Yeah, the funny thing was there was a time when we were pretty close to getting insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had a non-for-profit organization that I set up called Ridables.org back in the day, and we were very close. We actually found one or two insurance companies that were happy to insure electric
Okay.
unicycles. But I think with all of the publicity, negative publicity that's happening, and the fact that on the news you have the government saying scooters are not legal, that kind of scared quite a few insurance companies away. So we were
Mm.
then back to square one. And it's been like that ever since. It's a shame, but I strongly believe that with the right framework, with the right legal framework,
Yep.
and people being educated on the do's and the don'ts of how to use micromobility. I'm talking about PEVs now, not just electric unicycles. I'm talking
Right.
about light electric vehicle, light electric vehicle PEVs. Um, that they can really not just save you money, but in terms of the mental stress relief that you can also get from them as well.
Yeah.
It's
We all
it's
talk
it's
about
it
it.
exactly. So it's not just okay. I want to get this thing so that I don't get on the bus or I don't get on the train so I can save money. Which I'm sure the governments are thinking, well, if they're all riding their PVs, how are we gonna get money from them? They're probably panicking about that. But what they don't think about as well is if you have happy or happier citizens, they're more
Hmm.
likely to want to spend on other things in the economy.
Right.
So there's so many ways in which PEVs in general, there's a lot of advantages, but at the same time, the disadvantage is you will unfortunately have some riders that are irresponsible, that will probably ride erratically on sidewalks or cut in and out of cars, for example, if they were allowed on the street.
Yep.
And that is where the education now comes into it. Now, how are we going to educate these people? How are we going to penalize them? How are we going to hold them accountable? So if we were to see you ride irresponsibly on the street, does that mean that you must have a license so that if you are caught doing something stupid, we can give you points for your license? There's so many ways we can counter what the governments are scared of, but
Well,
they
and
need to
that's
give us the chance.
and that's what I think. I think that I mean, I know that they want to regulate, and I understand that they want to get their 2 cents on everything that we're buying, and I get that. My problem is um, the fact that when they start to deal with something because it's unknown to them, instead of doing research, talking to all of
Mm,
us, sitting
mm,
down at the table to say, hey, we need to regulate this. So why don't you sit down with us and let's figure out how to regulate it properly so that it's
yeah.
not just against you, it works for
Mm,
you as well. I'm
mm,
looking for that type of open conversation and I'm not seeing
mm,
it. I keep seeing these rules change in different places, and luckily it hasn't changed here. And when people come up to me like, "Oh, what's the law on that?" I said, "Well, there isn't any really. There's nothing that covers this." I said, you certain places say no motorized vehicles. So if you want to be
mm,
technical, okay, there's a motor on it, so you can kick us off the bike trails. If you want to be
mm,
that technical, but then of course I go into, well, that meant combustion engine is what they're talking about. The motors they're talking about, no motorized. This is talking about dirt bikes and motorcycles and stuff like that. When those signs were put up, it had nothing to do with battery powered wheels. And I'm like, it's one
gotcha.
wheel with a battery pack and a motor. I'm like, it's not a motorcycle, although it can go pretty fast. And I'm like,
Mm,
be specific. If you're talking about us, tell me you're talking about us, but be specific. And I say that because there's a new law here. Somebody sent me from Fairfield, Connecticut, which is the next state over from
mm,
me, and they just
mm,
updated, but it's an e-bike law. And that's the
mm,
other thing. It only talks about e-bikes. And I'm like, well, we're not an e-bike. Legally, an e-bike is two wheels. We're not an
mhm,
e-bike. So you can't really hold us to that. But they were saying that you might deal with somebody who might try to hold you to that. And I'm like, you're right. You might. So here is the I can't really make it any bigger, but this is the law that they had. And Connecticut is updating how certain e-bikes are classified and regulated. Here's what you need to know. E-bikes with no pedals and batteries over 750 watts but under 3,500 watts will now be defined as motor driven cycles. A valid license will be required to operate those e-bikes. Class 1 through 3 will still not require a license. E-bikes over 3,500 watts are expected to require registration and insurance similar to motorcycles. These changes aim to improve safety and accountability as high powered bikes become more common, especially among young, unlicensed riders. Parents, please take this into consideration when purchasing e bikes for your children. If you wouldn't let them drive a motorcycle, they shouldn't be riding one that functions like one. And I'm like, okay. I
Okay.
said, some of that's valid. When you
I
when you
know.
see a 12-year-old on a Suron and he's able to pop willies down the center of the street, no
Mm,
helmet, no gear, and do whatever he wants. Well, I see why they're coming up with these regulations. So that does include the Surons or the e-bikes that are like motorcycles and don't have pedals and have 3,500 over 3,500 watts. I get that, but this
mm.
still doesn't cover us. Technically, we're
Well, I
not
mean,
in that.
I'll tell you what. So you guys are lucky in the States because it's such a big country, right? That
Hmm.
and I'm and you guys have got other things to worry about than to worry
Yeah.
about some bunch of geeks on
Yeah.
one little cell plants in the back. You know, you know. But for us over here, well, as over here, as in the UK, these things, they do stand out. People will notice, and unfortunately, you do have riders that do ride irresponsibly, and
Hmm.
and
Oh
and
yeah.
you and once in a while you will see it, like in news. It's, oh well, an electric unicycle person just hit somebody, or just fell over or whatever. And I'm like, guys, you have to remember, you know, people see us as one entity. If you do something bad, they think we're all bad.
Yep.
But if you do something good, then it means that we're all good. So trying to stay as much under the radar as possible. If you must ride, that is, I'm not saying you should. Obviously, as I say, it is illegal, but try to give the right impression. Now, if you are now in the US, and this is why, I wish I had lived in the US, or maybe instead of coming to the UK when I was young, I'd moved to the US. E-rides will have gone even more because EUC is such a, for EUC, the US is such a massive market because of the
Yeah.
way the laws are over there, right?
Hmm.
Um, but at the same time, my advice to you guys in the US is still ride responsibly, because
Yes.
all it takes is one or two
Hmm.
or three massive incidents to make it onto the national news,
Yep.
and they will bring the law down on every state. It doesn't matter if
Everybody.
you want to be, yeah, everybody. It doesn't matter with your first or second amendment or whatever you guys say over there.
Hmm.
The law will put down on you guys over there. So just be careful.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah,
tell people all the time that we are good wheel ambassadors. And I say it just like that because when you're out there on the wheel, no matter whether you think you're representing other people or not, you are. And I know some people ride like I could do what I want, whatever, whatever. And I'm like, listen, not saying you can't do what you want, just saying what you do reflects on all of us. No
yeah.
matter who you are, no matter who you hang with or who you don't, no matter who you like or who you don't, when you do dumb shit, it reflects on all of us. So it's
And
important to ride responsibly and be a good wheel ambassador.
yeah, and also it's not just that as well, but if you were to hit, someone, you're going to change those people's families forever.
Yep.
God forbid, something really tragic happens.
Yep.
So it's not just about, oh well, about yourself if you're riding, but also think about other people's lives that might be affected by your reckless
Mm-hmm.
action.
You got
Um,
him.
saying that, even some parts in China, even though China, as I said, China is just as big as the US. You will see on the train as well where they will say you're not allowed to have hoverboards in the station, or
Yep.
scooters. So even some cities in China, they are not permitted, but they're not
Mm.
as stringent as, let's say, in Europe or in the UK. But it's the same as well here
Yep.
too.
Well, in Australia, Dale is saying that they become legal where he is in 3 days' time. So, Dale, are you going to wait 3 days to ride? I can answer that for you. No, he's not gonna wait. Ricardo said there's programs in Bristol,
Yeah,
UK,
I saw that.
and places where you can rent scooters. However, it's illegal to own one. Yeah,
Yeah.
that it's not just there in the UK, and which is weird. They made it that way specifically, which I think is the stupidest thing ever. I
Oh,
can rent it, but I can't own it.
you know what? I'll tell you what. So again, going back a few years, we used to lobby for this, and I was actually invited to quite a couple of the conversations with the government officials, and I was like, you do realize that owners of these personal electric vehicles are more likely to take care of it. They're more likely because it's their
Mm-hmm.
property. They're less likely to just dump it on the side of, on the sidewalks, for example, and
Yep.
cause hazard on people. And they're also more likely to wear helmets. They're more likely to ride responsibly once they are given the right to say, well, you know what, you can own it privately, but you
Mm-hmm.
must have insurance. And I'll be very happy to have insurance.
Yep.
I'll be very happy
I
to
would
have some
too.
sort of I'll be very happy to have some sort of lessons or that I will have to do so that I can get a certification to say, here you go, stamp of approval. He's gone through the
Mm-hmm.
lessons and he tests and he's passed it and he knows what the right things to do and things not to do. I'm also happy to be restricted to just say, okay, well, you're only allowed to be on certain part of this street or certain streets or maybe share bus lanes only. You're not allowed to go on certain roads. I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy to go through all of that restrictions and governance,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that I am allowed to use my personal electric vehicle. Not
Mm-hmm.
everybody requires a car. Not
Right.
everybody wants to own a car. you know?
No, and right, especially the bigger cities. Like where I live, it's a
Mm,
big enough city where I could ride my wheel and that would be all I needed. But it's also rural enough that I need
mm,
a car for a lot of my far trips. But New York, Boston, all these, I think Shanghai's like that too. Like it's
mm.
city, like big
Yeah, purpose.
city
Yeah,
where
yeah,
where you're like a car is annoying to own because you have to find parking all the damn time and it's not easy to
yeah,
find parking in some of these
yeah,
cities. It's a
yeah.
hassle on top of a hassle. So it's like crazy, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So that's why they should give us the ability to own our own personal transportation, especially when you weigh the pros and cons. There
Mm,
are so many more pros to owning an
hmm.
EUC than there are cons. And I
Yeah,
mean, besides the therapeutic effect, besides the
yeah,
financial savings, besides
yeah.
the ozone saving in the environment,
Environmental
not
savings as well.
yeah. I mean, there's just so many things that you never mind the feeling that not just you get from riding that, but the feeling that you give others when they see you riding. There's the
But
community, the camaraderie.
yeah,
There's just so much.
but if I may play a little bit of a devil's advocate
Go
and
ahead.
to kind of look at the other side of what the legislation and the government and what are they scared of, right? So they're scared of safety. That is the main thing, right? Safety. So in terms of riding safety, collision safety, but also battery safety as well. And this is
Mm-hmm.
why
Mm-hmm.
a few months ago I released a quick video, a hot take on the in motion wheels, right? The V9,
Mm-hmm.
and now there's going to be the V12S, which has that UL certification.
Yep.
People don't understand how important that is. Now,
Super
if you
important.
are going, it's so important because if you are going to go to the government and say, you know what, this thing should be made legal, at least legal with a framework around it, not just anyone could just jump in and just ride around. One of the
Mm-hmm.
things they're going to ask you is this safe to put in people's houses? Because people do live in
Mm-hmm.
flats, right? And if
Yep.
there's because of fire risks. Now, with the UL certification, it proves that one of, if not the best um, certification body for UL, like battery safety
Mm-hmm.
and just components that you have in your house. One of these companies has also certified an electric unicycle, which proves that that electric unicycle is just as safe as all of the other compliances that has gone through the same stringent test in your house.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is a shift in perspective, and that's how I think we can speak to the government and convince them.
Hmm.
Now, it's all great talking about the mental, activities and the advantages and all that kind of stuff. They'll say, yeah, that's great. But for them, it's all about safety. So if we can have more electric unicycles, have UL certification, that will help us
Hmm.
in arguing our points across from a safety perspective, from a
Yes.
battery safety perspective.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, back in the days, right? We used to have, there's always, oh, there's one fire here, there's one fire there, and
Yeah.
dude,
And it's not just us. The scooters.
yeah,
There's a lot of scooter
yeah,
fires too. So having a UL certification, having a water rating,
yes,
having those two things with smart BMS
uh
tracking,
huh,
and I mean having those
yeah,
three things gives the safety factor to our wheels to the next level, to where a company can come in and say, okay, you have the UL, you have the water rating, you have the safeties for the battery.
you got the
So
BMS,
now I can see
exactly, alarms,
insuring
all
you
that,
because you've done your due diligence to be as safe as you possibly can.
exactly,
And that's what we need. So I'm glad that
exactly,
InMotion is
exactly,
is doing that,
yeah,
because although the other wheel companies aren't there yet, they are taking a step in that direction, and I feel like they're gonna guide the others in that direction. Now, obviously, Begode is the
mm,
performance arm of EUC creation, and they push the performance. But while
mm,
they're pushing the performance, they can look at what's going on here, and I know that they can
mm,
incorporate the safety factor once they get the idea of what has happened within motion, and they can move to that too. Because once we do that, then like you said, we can go to these companies and say, hey,
mm,
we have all these certifications, you should be able to insure us now.
mm,
And that will be helpful, you know.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. At least we can start a conversation now with the UL certification. It's not cheap. Like,
no,
just to
it's
let you
not.
know, I mean,
I
I
know.
know InMotion spend a lot of money
Hmm.
making sure that, because the way I assume it works, and I read up about this, is there's a set of conditions that you must meet.
Yep.
And when you're developing your wheel or your device, you have to develop your device with those requirements, you know, as well,
Hmm.
which means if you can't just design a wheel the way you think you want to design a wheel. If a wheel looks cool, that will, but it's not about how a wheel looks cool or how it looks from a user's perspective. It must take into consideration the UL certification requirements, which
Hmm.
sometimes might mean that the wheel is a bit heavier than it should be.
Yep.
But it is so the V12S, people were like, well, that's a 72-volt or 84-volt wheel. Why is it so low? Well, in 168-volt is pretty dangerous. you know so I understand why they went with 84-volt, because it's still manageable. 72-volt is also good as well. And then you have the weight. So you have the V12S, which is about 35 kg, but that's
Hmm.
probably because certain materials needs to be used for
Yep.
safety reasons according to the UL certification, right? So we have to be prepared to lose a little bit of what we like about EUC, so that we can get the safety that we need, so that we can actually ride this thing, at least argue our points across. So yeah,
Yeah. Now, look, there's argument all day for that safety,
yeah,
but we know that Emotion is the only real corporate backed
corporate,
company. They are
yeah,
a corporate EUC
they're
brand.
corporate company.
Yeah. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
when we look, and that's one of the things that people have to look at, is when it comes to these different companies, there are,
Mm,
there's the grassroots companies that are just starting out and making wheels. We've seen several companies start from nothing and just
oh
jump
yeah.
in and get started, and now they're up and running, and now they're getting bigger and bigger because they're making better
Which is
wheels.
awesome. Which is
Yeah,
awesome.
Leaperchem, and now the
Which is great.
NOSFET, and
Which is,
and it's
which is
great.
amazing. Yeah.
And when it comes to, when you see um Begode, you know that they're putting all their money back into
Mm,
performance, and they're
mm,
doing that to make sure that we have the performance standards that we want. But in
mm,
order for them to get UL certification, they'd have to pull
mm.
way back on all those
Yes.
wheels that they're making and
Yeah.
focus on just a few wheels, so that they can spend all the money that it costs to
Yeah.
get the UL certification.
Yeah.
And I know that they'll probably get there at some point, but it's
Hopefully, yeah.
taken in motion, I think, to point people in that direction. Like, hey, and in motion has taken their time. That's another reason why it's taken them so long to come out with more
Yeah.
wheels.
Mm-hmm.
And they have been working on it, working on it, working on it, and then bam, they drop them all after they get their certifications.
Mm-hmm.
They waited. They let the
Mm-hmm.
market run away from them a little bit, and they're like, "That's okay, that's okay." People are like, "When are they coming out?" I know they got some stuff. When are they coming out? And they're like, "We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait."
Mm-hmm.
But they came out with some bangers, and and now we're still waiting for their high performance race wheel. I'm,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still shocked. I'm like, whoo. I'm like this. I'm like, what they gonna do? What they gonna do? So we'll see what
Yeah.
they do. It's crazy. It's
Yeah, I
crazy.
mean, you mentioned briefly about InMotion being a corporate company. We obviously we were invited to the company the last time when you were in China, right? And you
Yeah.
can see culture, right, in terms of compared to the other um, you know companies that we've been to. Um, Even the presentation that he gave to the PowerPoint presentation. I mean, we never had any PowerPoint presentation with the other companies.
Yeah.
It's just a mindset.
Yeah.
Not to say that not to say that they're perfect. I'm sure that
No.
if
No. No.
every
No.
company has their ups and downs, but that's their thing. That's
Yeah.
how they want to run the company, and it
Mhm.
aligns with what the corporation and the government
Mhm.
might deem okay company
Mhm.
to allow for citizens to own their product.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so and that's where
Yeah.
we
I
are,
know. I know
unfortunately.
that. And I don't care who you are. If you think about it, you have to be
Mm,
nervous when it comes to having your
yeah,
wheel in your house, because we
but
know what could happen. No
could
matter
happen.
who you are,
Mm.
no matter how long you've been riding, you know that there's a possibility, no matter how slight, that you could get a wheel fire. And
Even
that's
with
the
cars,
it's scary.
yeah, it is because even with electric cars,
Yep,
right?
which I have
Yeah, these are combustible,
batteries.
component.
Yeah.
Batteries are combustible component. Saying that, there are some really good breakthrough, especially here in China.
Hmm. Ooh.
Semi-solid state battery
Ooh.
is here. It's not
Yeah.
talk about. It's already here.
I'm waiting for that to
There
be mass produced and put out to everything, all the different products.
Yeah, 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 yeah. All those car companies. I mean, the car company culture here, and in terms of EV, the
Hmm.
competition
It's
is
wild.
tough. Is wild,
Yo, it's
and it's like
wild.
everybody's trying to one up each other, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully, some of that technology will just filter down to the PEVs
Yeah.
eventually.
It will.
But the
It
good
will.
thing, yeah, but the good thing about China is because the competition is so fierce, right? They don't even need to compete with other countries like the US or countries in Europe. Within China, they're trying to one up each other on battery
Hmm.
technology.
Yep.
That safety is the battery safety is improving as
It's
well
crazy.
with
It's
solid state
crazy.
battery because it's less combustible than
Yep.
normal batteries, right? Normal lithium ion batteries. So hopefully that would then come down to PEVs, like scooters and electric unicycles very soon.
Yeah. We'll get there soon. So
We'll get there.
in the chat, shouts out to Fresh Bones. What's up, man? Welcome in. And Primo, what's up, man?
Yeah,
Good to see you in the
pretty soon.
chat, Primo. It's been a minute, bro. So yeah, we had a few jump in, a few jump out. So
Yeah,
I know that all the new wheels are crazy, and I know
yeah,
as a distributor, both in the
mm,
UK and the US,
yes,
E-Rides, you have a good perspective on what's going on, and
mm,
you've been privileged, and I
mm,
say that because you've been able to be in the places that people who ride would love to. I know that everybody who rides EUC sees you in some of the. I remember the first time you went to Be Gold, and I'm like, how
yeah,
the hell is this dude over there at the factory? I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, this is some BS. I would love to be over there in the factory. But because of your connection to them and your ability to go these places, you have been able to see things that most of us don't get to see. And
mm,
in turn, you've been able to open a company and bring these things to not just the UK but to the US. So with
Yeah.
that in mind, thinking about
Mm,
all the wheels that that are coming out and all that have just
mm,
come out, because a whole
yeah.
bunch just
Yeah.
dropped.
Yes.
I know we could go down the whole line, but what are the standouts for you if you had to pick standouts, the most standouts to you in the
Yeah.
last 6 months?
So good, that very good question. So when you guys left China around
Mm-hmm.
December, first week
January.
of Jan, yeah,
Yeah.
um, I did a quick trip to some of the UC manufacturers, and I released a video where I said 2025 is going to be the year of the grab and go wheel,
Mm-hmm.
and people were like, "What are you talking about? You know, we've got links, we've got fast." And one thing I'm beginning to notice is that with the economic downturn, right? Manufacturers are beginning to understand that they can't keep going faster and bigger battery and heavier. It's not going to work. So they're now beginning to kind of go the other way where they're prioritizing portability, which is the original reason why we're all in EUCs
Mm-hmm.
anyway, because it's the most portable form of transport. In terms of electric vehicles. So they're now thinking, okay, how can we move to the next level? How can we continue our sales, right? So let's make it cheaper. Let's make it lighter. Let's make it safer as
Mm-hmm.
well. But also let's bring suspension to the smaller wheel segment.
Mm-hmm.
So without, this is pretty obvious. One of the first wheel that I spoke about was the NOSFET Aero. I was very privileged to try one of the very early
Mm-hmm.
prototype. And even though it was still pretty raw, some of the stats that they were trying to hit and the potential that I can feel even when I was writing that very, very early prototype
Mm-hmm.
made me realize that if this guys, NOSFET, if they hit all of the requirements and the milestones that they set for themselves, is going to cascade through the entire industry. And everybody's going to try to catch up because obviously nobody wants to lose sales, right? If everybody's buying a NOSFET Aero, they're going to
Market
think what's
share.
going on. Exactly, the market share. They're going to think, okay, what are they doing well that I need to copy? So you know how it is. They're going to be
Mm-hmm.
inspired by the
Inspired. There
NOSFET
you go.
Aero.
That's a good word.
Inspired,
They inspire
by
each other.
inspire each other. So I knew immediately that 2025 is going to be the year of the grab and go wheel. So what are the standout? Definitely NOSFET Aero is leading that charge. It is the one where I tried and I felt, wow, okay. The only thing missing with that is obviously we spoke about the UL certification, but listen, they're a very young company. They need to get enough sales, get enough, capital so that they can start to diversify and use a bit of that capital to invest into UL certification, which I hope they will do in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they will because they're very safety orientated. But also, I spoke to their CEO of
Mm-hmm.
NOSFET, talking about the main co-founder of NOSFET. His name is called Sen, and we sat down and we had tea, and he's someone that cares about the little detailed things about a product, right? He's very detail oriented and very detail obsessed, right from
Mm-hmm.
the way the wheel looks to the way it rides, even the way the motor sounds as well. That's how detailed the guy is. And the standout company, you talk about product, right? I'm gonna go with company, then we'll talk about product later. I think you need to watch out for NOSFET.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Very important. Because the philosophy of the guy behind it, even though he's very quiet, you probably never spoken to him before. He knows what he wants. Very similar to Leper Kim as well, but he's
Mm-hmm.
like of a different kind of more technical side of things. But so that's the company. But in terms of the product, definitely NOSFET Aero. That's one. To
Okay.
me, number one.
Okay. Number one
So far.
standout. NOSFET
Number
Arrow.
one
Gotcha.
so far. Oh, hold on 1 minute. Let me get my
You dying?
give me a minute. Just hold
Okay, while
on.
he's doing that,
Started.
I want to acknowledge some things in the chat that were said, and we're gonna get back to his standout wheels. Yes, BYD. BYD is for me. BYD is the standout um, electric vehicle company, and no, we don't have them in the states yet. So once they come here, it's gonna be a wrap. BYD, China's company that just killing the game when it comes to electric vehicles. I have an electric SUV made by Kia, and it's amazing, the Kia EV9. But I would love something by BYD. Just looking at all the things that they're making.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean,
yeah,
so I'm going to go back to the EUC later. We
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about cars, right?
Oh,
So,
I sidetracked them.
I know we're here for EUC, but we'll go back to it and I'll tell you just a quick, just to interject a little bit. China, right? You talk about BYD. There is another company called Neo,
Yep,
amazing cars.
love
It's still,
Neo.
I'm not sure. Yeah, Neo. And then there is Xiaomi. There's Xiaomi
Xiaomi.
SU7, the Xiaomi YU7. I'm supposed to go to the to the store sometime this weekend to actually sit down and look at it. But these cars are pumping out like the max, no, the ultra version of the SU7. So you have the normal version, the max version, and then there's a SU7 ultra. This thing is pumping out for $72,000. $72,000 is pumping out 1,500 horsepower for
Jeez,
$72,000. Like it's ridiculous.
that's
Like
crazy.
the amount of value you can get, in China for EVs in
Yeah.
general. But yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna
Anyway,
I'm gonna okay, before now I also want to sidetrack because AR Anakin now he said what's up, and this question is for you. He says working on the Apex pedal, but I think Greenmaster Mike asked the same thing. Are you working on pedals for the Apex and the Arrow?
good question. So I I was I was thinking about this, and we do have a prototype pedal for the Apex.
Aha.
Um, but before before you make products, right? Especially the kind of pedals that we make, there is a minimum order quantity, right? Which is probably
Mm-hmm.
about in a hundred. So you need to commit to before they have the material already set up and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Apex, if the Apex was selling as much as the Lynx, for example, then
Right.
it would justify us putting that capital upfront first, knowing
Gotcha.
that there is the market for it. So imagine, let's just say 100 people were to buy, a wheel, right? Most of
Mm-hmm.
them will probably, maybe about 20% will probably buy like a aftermarket pedal because they are more expensive, right? That's what it is. They're expensive. Out of that 20%, you have other manufacturers trying to fight for those 20%. So you have E-Rise trying to get onto it as well. Maybe you have, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, Clark pedals trying to get onto it as well. So then if you look at that, for Apex, it isn't a big enough market
Yeah.
yet,
Got you.
for us to then say, but we are ready. Once we start seeing that
Mm-hmm.
there's Apex popping up here and there, we've got a prototype ready, and I know there's a market for it. Bang, we'll go live with it. With the Arrow, however, the Arrow is meant to be a lightweight wheel, right? So if you start putting additional stuff onto the wheel, you kind of, you know, going against the real purpose of that wheel. It's supposed to be as light as possible.
Yep.
So I know that there are all these heel and toes that people are releasing for it. So you just put a heel and toe on pedals, and
Mm-hmm.
that kind of does the job. Whereas you're not increasing the weight of the wheel as much.
Right.
Can we? Yeah. Can we make a pedal for the Aero? Yes, we can. We've got drawings of it already. But once we see that people are complaining about it, it's pretty easy to just go to production. So,
Yeah.
but
See,
we
and
don't have it yet. Yeah.
right. So the real key. Oh, what's up? Shouts out to the one and only Seth Johnson.
Oh, hey, Seth.
And of
This-
course, Wheelie Brady.
hey, Brady.
Yeah, Adventures in Gold is in here also. What's up? What's up? So yeah, I get it. So you guys
Yeah.
asking about the the pedals for the Apex and the Arrow. There's more
Yeah.
Arrow sales than there are
Yeah.
Apex sales. So
By a lot.
are those pedals the same? Like, is it universal
No,
between the two of them, or
no,
is it?
no. Oh, so yeah,
So
exactly. So this is one of the gripes that I had with the owner of Nostred as well. It's like, just make a pedal hanger that is universal, so that we don't have to keep on having different kind of pedals
right.
for these wheels. I think he said he'll try. as I said, like the guy is a perfectionist.
Hmm.
Like he wants things a certain way, but he said he will try. So hopefully, the next wheel will have similar pedal hanger to maybe the Aero
Right.
or the Apex, and then we can have that sort of uniform design
Yeah.
going forward, and that will
Well,
give us more confidence to put money into
well,
releasing
that's the
pedals.
problem, and I tell people this all the time. They don't realize that. I know if you buy a new Apex, you're like, well, why don't they make pedals for my wheel? And I'm like, you just laid it out perfectly for those that don't know. For the uninitiated,
Mm.
don't really realize when it comes to business, if there's not enough to recuperate what you're going to invest in it, then you shouldn't invest in it. So he's thinking about the fact that if there's not enough Apex, because Apex did have a lot of issues, there was a lot of things that had to be altered and for people to get the wheel to work the way they wanted, and so because of that, a lot of people didn't buy them. So if a lot of people don't buy them, then of course you make a pedal for it, invest up front, you're not going to
Yeah,
get your money back. So it's
no,
not
you
going to be
can.
worth it as a business venture. So I get it.
No,
I understand
yeah,
100%.
but we
Um,
are, but just to say we are ready. Once we start
yeah,
seeing that the sales is picking up, the prototype is already there. It's not even in the drawings anymore. It's in prototype already. So then
yeah,
we can go mass production, but it's not there yet.
yeah.
But yeah,
Well, Wheelie Brady's asking, I already know the answer. He's asking if you're going to Malaysia.
I'm not too far away from Malaysia where I am right now. So,
he's a
so
he's
I
a
might be.
hop skip. He's a hop skip and a jump away already.
So I'm not too far from Malaysia right now. Um, there's a 60-40 chance that I might be there, um, only because it depends on where the business wants me to go. I might actually be in the US around that time, because I mean, we spoke earlier
Okay.
about our jackets as well, about the rock and that and everything.
Yep.
So we are looking for stores that might want to carry the Rock and That brand as well. So we've got some ideas for for Rock and That that we're trying to
Okay.
push.
Well, that's
Yeah,
nice, but you need to go to Malaysia.
yeah, of course. Yeah. So
you, you need to
I
go to
am very
Malaysia.
much, yeah, I'm very
You need to
much
go.
Malaysia. Then if anything happens, then yeah, but Malaysia number one. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's unbelievable that we're doing the whole
oh yeah,
thing again and moving it all to Malaysia. So it's going to
yeah.
be incredible fun. And I keep talking. I guess I better hurry up and get my ticket now. But but yeah,
Yeah. Don't do that
yeah,
the last time, by the way. The last
yes,
time you came
it,
in like
last,
super
yeah.
late.
Yeah, at least this time I'm all set. I'm definitely going,
Yeah.
and it's my understanding that you don't need a visa there. You just need your passport. I believe.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I know for China they've got this visa free thing. I don't know for Malaysia. So
yeah,
let's find out. That's a good question. I just assumed
yeah,
I could just pop down, but I might not be able to because
yeah. We have
I
to
would,
check on it. I was told that your passport is good, but if there's something
okay.
different, I'll have to apply. But my
Mm,
Chinese visa is good for 10 years, so I'm good there.
mm,
But
mm.
Malaysia. Uh,
Yeah.
so I just got something in the chat here from E-Ride Life. Seth Johnson. He says
He said,
the rocket destroys the arrow in every category except weight. Now, I was
mm,
told I
mhm,
was told differently. I was told that even though the specs outdo other wheels, it
mm,
felt better. The arrow felt better, and people preferred the arrow over the rocket, even though the rocket had much better specs. I was also told that the rocket doesn't go as fast as the specs should allow it to go, and that the weight distribution at higher speeds, because it's not it's a smaller wheel, that it's a little wobbly. So I was told that there were some issues that made people still prefer the Arrow, but I'm not sure. I haven't ridden either one. So guys, I'm just
oh,
giving
you
you.
haven't?
I haven't got a
Oh,
chance to ride either one, so I'm just giving you what I've read and what I've heard from other people. You have ridden both, I
yes,
believe, right?
yes.
So
Yes.
you give me what you think about those two comparatively.
So the arrow and the rocket have some synergies in terms of certain um, part of what they deliver in terms of speed and weight and everything, but they also are a bit different at the same time. Now, in terms of what synergies that they share, they're small wheels, right? Or they try to be small in terms of wheel diameter. But I think the market for aero and the market for the rocket are not entirely aligned. Is that there's a little bit of a crossover, but they're not entirely aligned. So I see a aero um, customer, somebody that just wants the proper grab and go wheel, right? I
Mhm.
don't care about top speed. I just 30 miles an hour is enough for me. Even 28 miles an hour is enough for me. But I want a wheel that's got okay suspension, even though it's actually pretty good. It's light, and I don't want to go fast. For the rocket, I want something shrunken down, but still have the power and the top speed for me to basically, hang out on the street somewhere in the US with cars, right? That wheel can do 40 miles an hour easily, but there are some compromising. So compromising in terms of weight, right? So it's not easy to just pick up because I tried doing that with one hand. It's over 32 kg or 30. I was like, well, okay, even I need to go to the gym. So yeah, I think the market is similar but not entirely the same. So when you're comparing the arrow and the rocket, just bear in mind that not everybody wants to go 40 miles an hour. And people that want to go 40 miles an hour, they're happy to sacrifice the extra weight so that they can go that fast, right? In terms of the riding dynamics, in terms of how planted they are, I found the arrow to be better at riding in terms of the lower pedal. It's just just the way the wheel doesn't feel too sketchy at higher speeds. For the rocket, however, because it's quite high, it's just normal, right? That if you're going fast, you're more likely to get wobbles. Some people like that. Some people can control it, and that is why I always say the rocket. You need to have some experience to get onto the
Mhm.
rocket. You can't just be like, oh, whoa, this is my first wheel. I've never ridden a wheel before. I mean, you can. Obviously, people can also ride, a Sherman S as the first wheel, Sherman L. But I'm just saying, if you really want a wheel that is more user friendly for people that just want to learn, you might want to go for the arrow. If you want like a wheel that gives you every single thing in terms of performance, right? But in a smaller package, and you don't mind the little bit of the teething problem. Maybe the pedal is a bit too high. Maybe the fit and finish might not be that good. Then you go for the rocket. I think there's a market for both.
Yeah,
But if you
yeah.
must buy one, then make up your mind really
Yeah.
based on that.
Well, no, I agree. Now
Yeah,
I think that aesthetically, the arrow
yeah,
wins all day long. There's
yeah,
there's really not a prettier wheel. It really looks really good. Like they did, I
yeah.
think above all other wheels, period, the arrow looks the
Mm,
best. Um,
mm,
it's very unique looking. I do think you need pads that can complement it, and not all pads will complement it. So you got to kind of find something. I think it's harder to
mm,
make
mm,
get something that looks right. Um, but I do think, and again, I'm just going by what I'm hearing from everyone because I
mm.
play videos and listen to everybody's
Yeah,
comments
yeah.
and what they, and it seemed to me that everybody was
Mm,
feeling the arrow more. The rocket
mm,
was a buildup. Everybody's like, whoa, 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 look at these specs. It's crazy. But then once they got it and wrote it, I haven't heard them. They said yes, they like it, and like Willie Brady is saying that he couldn't catch up to Seth on his 134-volt X-way. He couldn't catch up to Seth on the Rocket, and I'm like, well,
yeah,
the Rocket's
yeah.
new,
The rocket.
it's
Oh,
powerful,
it's
it t-
powerful. No,
it
that
takes
that wheel
off.
is yeah. But I just think the way the market is heading right now, right? I
Hmm.
think we're beginning to get customers or new riders that want that iPhone, if you know what I mean, that plug and
Hmm.
play just works,
Yep.
fit out the box. Yeah. Whereas the Rocket still comes from the passionate, era where I don't mind, compromising here and there because the performance is amazing, right? And it puts a smile on my face and I can go fast and I can break hard, which you can also do with the arrow as well.
Hmm.
However, The arrow is a bit more polished. I won't say a bit more. It is polished, more polished, and it's more user friendly. The pedal height is not as high, so it doesn't wobble as it doesn't scare you at higher speed, and it cannot go that fast anyway. Now,
Hmm.
I'm hoping I'm hoping that the the arrow is just the beginning in terms of the Nosfet's design language going forward,
Right,
and
right,
hopefully
right.
then if they do come up with, with another wheel, which I hope they, I mean they have
I
to,
know
right?
they
They're a
will.
business, they need
Yeah,
to
they
sell
have
wheels.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that then becomes their design language going forward. So that look that you like so much, with the arrow becomes the next one. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe 16 or 18-inch wheel, whatever they're going to do next, and then becomes the norm.
Yeah.
But don't, yeah. But just to say out there, the Rocket is still a great wheel,
Oh
right?
yeah.
But I think it's just a different audience.
It is. It is. I do think there those two are different categories. Honestly, I think
Yeah.
the Rocket's the next level up from the Arrow, but because size wise, they're kind of similar. People are comparing them a lot. Ronan in the chat, he said the Rocket is a specs only wheel focused on max performance, forgetting about convenience, as opposed to the Arrow that was thought as a practical light commuter wheel in every respect. I would sum that up even further and say that the Rocket feels like they threw specs at it. Let's give it everything under the sun as far as the specs are concerned. And
Mm,
the Arrow, they said, let's put a package together that brings everything together and make it harmonious. I think that to me is a little bit of the difference. Like I feel like the even though it's like I said, it's a more specced out wheel. I feel like
mm,
the Rocket has a lot of specs, but doesn't have the fit and finish, doesn't have the balance. I think it's just like a racehorse, a powerhouse, but it doesn't have that finesse. Like
mm,
the
mm,
Arrow
mm.
has such finesse, and it's just different. So they're different wheels. I mean, it'd be nice to own them both, but it's just they're different. Shouts out to Roger in the chat. Roger, my man.
Yeah, Roger.
Roger is the man. He said he's gonna have to scoot and go to they're doing their intro to speed again, and he can't
Intro
miss
to
that.
speed.
I know, brother. I know
Yeah.
they happen to do it on Wednesdays there. Like he always like jumps in and jumps out because but he'll watch the replay. So shouts out to Roger, the man. Oh, Roger, I need to hit you up too. Finally opened your charger, and I'm not sure where the plug from the charger to the wall is. So I don't remember if we talked about it when I got it from you in China. That's how long ago it's been. So I was like, did I get the plug that goes from the to the? I don't remember. So anyway, well, I'll call you, Roger. We'll talk. But yeah, there's a lot of people saying the same thing. Stan saying for the Rockets price and weight, is it better to get a bigger, more powerful non-suspension? Oh, never non-suspension, dude. Never, never non-suspension. That, like Dale said it, non-suspension is a thing of the past. Yeah, yeah. You want suspension, brother. You really do. Um, oh, that's the other one. Yeah. So I think C8 is a better wheel than the Arrow. Even it's definitely faster than it. The C8's incredible. We didn't even get to that one yet. The
Yeah, we've not got
C8
to that yet.
the
Yeah.
C8 honestly is more comparable to the Arrow, I think, because
Mm,
it's a smaller, more comparable, and it has fit and finish, but it also has the colors, the music, the different shape, and I think that's why the Arrow was so well received because it was a different, smoother, rounded, had the rounded feel to it as opposed to the boxy box shape. It gave you more finesse look. It looked more sexy. And I think
yes.
even though I still
Mm.
think the Arrow looks sexier, I think the C8 gives you a whole different look and vibe. And I'm honestly like, yo, I want one. I'm like, so
I tell you, yeah. So okay, so the C8, I like the C8 because it reminds me of the Nikola, right? So it's
yep.
got that, that feeling of, oh wow, um, you know, um, it's just familiarity. You know what I mean? So, but in terms of the performance, I don't know how they're able to get that much power from an 84-volt wheel. It's just, it's like, I tried it just briefly, just very very briefly, and I was amazed by how fast it is and how powerful it is, which leads me to what I was saying before, that we might not need that much of a high voltage to be able to start achieving all these high speeds now,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you look at the V12S, is what, 84-volt or something like that, and
Mm-hmm.
it can hit 43 miles an hour comfortably. And known in motion probably has a bit more, so they're just capping it at
Yeah.
43
They
because in
capped
motion,
it. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. So, but I think for the C8, it's still a little bit heavy. It's about
Mm-hmm.
31 kg or something. So you will feel the weight. But in terms of the performance, in terms of the way it looks as well, it makes me happy. It's just one of those wheels. When I think about a C8, it just makes me happy. It's a happy wheel because of the lights, the LED lights, and the way you can change it, and the speakers as well. It just has everything. But saying that, I still understand why some people might still prefer the Aero. The Aero is more of a, probably, of a complete package.
Mm.
The only thing the Aero is missing is that top end speed, because the torque is so high on the Aero that you get to that top end speed so quickly
Right. And
that
then you topped out.
and you kind of want more. It
You're
leaves
like,
you
what?
wanting more. What is that? It? I want more,
That's
which
it?
makes me feel that's it. But I mean, 32 miles an hour is not slow for such a small 14-inch wheel. But the power and the acceleration and the smoothness in which it gets there makes you feel like there has to be more. There has to be
Right.
like a 16-inch version of this, right? Somewhere. There
Yep.
has to be a
Yeah.
version too.
It's like you're hitting it like,
So it's
I'm
like,
like, come
I want
on, come
more.
on.
Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
And this is where the rocket shines, right? Because the rocket is like, yeah, you want some more? Here you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
30,
Yeah.
39,
Yeah.
40, 43. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's and now again, this is just we're talking the new wheels that the V12S is another one that I'm like it's funny we couldn't say nothing to people, but we saw it
Yeah.
in the
So
factory in
yeah,
China at the end of the year.
yeah.
At the beginning of the year, we were in China and we saw that V12S, and I remember going, "What's that?"
What's that? Yeah. And
I
the
saw it in the
suspension
corner.
on
I
that
was
wheel.
like,
Oh
"Yo,
wow. Like
yep,
the suspension on that wheel. I tried it. So after you guys left, I went back to
yep."
Emotion again, right? And I tried it
Oh,
on the street. This was about what, a month after you guys left, right? So I tried it on the
uh-huh.
street. And to be fair, listen, I was thinking, oh, this is gimmicky. It's got the LED screen, blah, 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 blah. So I got on it. I was like, wait a minute, this is not that bad. So I leaned a little bit more, and I was like, whoa, it's actually quite quick. But the suspension, I was like, what is this suspension? Like I was going up and down, right? And it was just so cushy. Even, dare I say it, even better than Leopard suspension. I don't know how they were able to
What?
do it
Whoa, 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 whoa,
because
whoa, whoa,
it,
whoa! That's
no,
blasphemous.
no, I know. I was telling myself that as well. I'm thinking, what is going on here? I mean, suspension wheel from Leopard has always been the number one, right? But
Yep,
it's
yep,
supposed to be the same company, Fast Ace, right? It's supposed to be the same company,
yep.
but somehow they've tuned the one for the V12S to be better in some ways,
Ooh,
even than the pattern. So
that's
I
a lot,
was,
bro. That's a
yeah,
lot.
that's a lot.
That's saying
It
a
is.
lot.
So I
Okay.
was like, is this
You guys
possible?
heard it here. You guys heard it here.
So
Afeez said, look, Afeez said it. I ain't say it. Afeez.
I'm listen, it's the truth. I was thinking this was, but obviously the performance is not like the pattern and the rest of those guys of V14.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's but in terms of just the suspension alone and the refinement,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the V12S and the UL certification that we spoke about as well. I think the
Yep.
UL
Yep.
certification is a big deal.
A
Like you
huge deal.
cannot
Huge
underestimate
deal.
that. It's a huge deal,
Yeah.
and I think to me that is a unique selling point of
Yeah,
emotion wheels now.
that's one of the reasons why I'm like, I want a C8, but now I also want a V12S. I'm like, damn.
Mm,
So
mm.
I don't know. I don't know. Wheelie Brady said, I think a C8 race would look cool. Only C8s. That would be dope.
Yeah,
Yo, with all the lights on them and have them
yeah.
going on a race. That would be dope.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would love to see that.
He's right. He is right.
Yeah. Um, yeah, he said he wish it was called the Nicola still. Yeah, it should have been the Nick 2.0
Yeah,
or the Super Nick,
Nicola.
the Super Nicola or something.
Exactly.
I don't
It should
know.
have been in Nicola Super Nick
Okay,
or Nicola
Primo.
S. I don't know what it is. Nicola suspension.
Yeah, Primo, I think you're a nut. He said we're talking about the suspension. The comment I made about you have to have suspension. He said I disagree. No suspension provides a unique ride feel, and for me is more fun than suspension. Makes you a better rider too. There will always be a place for non-suspension wheels. I'm sorry, bro. I don't agree, and I say that only because the only time I think non-suspension has a place is racing. If you're racing, I can see
Yeah.
you saying I don't want suspension because when they're racing, they dial it down, way down, where it's almost no suspension because they
Mm,
don't want it to bounce or move while they're doing their racing.
mm,
However, for those of us
mm.
riding wheels and on the street, you're always gonna have bumps. You're always gonna have potholes. You're always gonna have uneven ground. You're always gonna have and the unsuspecting bump of something we've all seen on the non-suspension wheels, unexpected something caused you to fall. You've seen everybody has had rides where that's happened. It used to happen a lot more often because we didn't have suspension. Now he says I disagree. No suspension provides you. Oh, that's the same post. But
Yeah.
he did say something else a little bit further. I'm gonna let him. I'm gonna read the other one. He said non-suspension requires more skill, so I prefer non-suspension. Although my next wheel, the Panther, will have suspension, I'll always have a non-suspension wheel. Look, I can tell you from my and I know it's a preference. Remember, I'm just giving you my opinion, folks. But I couldn't go back to non-suspension. I tried. I have my OG Sherman. I tried to ride it. I sold it the next day, or not. I put it up for sale the next day because I got a couple suspension wheels, and when I went back to try and
Yeah.
ride that, I said hell no. Like the bumps, I was like boom 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 boom. Boom. I was like oh nope 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 nope. Give me my Sherman S back right now. I am not riding this OG, and I sold it quickly because especially for us that are older and have issues. I have my hip replaced, so it's not
Yeah.
an issue anymore. But hey,
Mm,
I'm in my 50s, halfway through my
mm,
50s. So for
mm.
me, those bumps are real, and I don't need anything giving me more jarring than I
Yeah.
need.
I see.
So, and I got skill, I can ride, but
Mm.
I am not riding without suspension unless I absolutely have to. It's just too good. And it's just, I mean, but that's just me. How do you feel,
I mean,
Fees?
I mean, so I still keep two non-suspension wheels with me,
Mm-hmm.
um, only because they have emotional value. So there's my Nicola. That's the reason. Yeah, I got my
Emotional
Nicola
value.
emotional value because I have my Nicola 100 volt, which was probably the first or second Nicola built, and it's got my name on it, Afeez,
Mm,
built for me by because of like years ago. So I still keep that because
I
of
remember.
that. And then I have my MSS MSP. The MSS is a wheel that was kind of modified
Yep,
MSP
I remember
by
it.
Daniel Cott. I still have that wheel. Oh wow, it's only 25 kg, goes 48 miles an hour, and it's just awesome. Like you think about it, it goes. So I still keep that, and I still have my OG Sherman with
Mm-hmm.
the old firmware, the fastest firmware, which is can go like yeah, the 50 miles an hour and above, but it's only for emotional value. Now, there are times when non-suspension is required, right? If you just want to feel the wheel, like is the most rawest connection you can feel to a wheel, because when you lean, you don't have that compression from the suspension that then translate into the forward
Mm-hmm.
movement. So I understand what they're saying, but I think as a whole, I think non-suspension wins all day. I know that because we used to like order quite a lot of rims
Mm-hmm.
for Bigode. As soon as
Mm-hmm.
suspension came out, man, we ain't selling rims no more, mate. Like I'm like, what? Like, I'm giving them rims away for free, like almost for free. I'm doing sales left, right, and center. Like, no one's buying rims anymore.
He's like, look,
you know,
get two rims for one buy one get one free. Like, yo, look, I got rims. I got rims.
I got rims. No one's buying rims anymore because of suspension, right? Because people are not cracking their rims anymore, right?
Oh
So
man.
for that alone, the amount of money you're gonna save, we've had riders that have come back to e-rides, especially American riders that have bought directly from us. They've bought three rims. They've got some guys come over and buy like two Monster Pro. You remember the old Monster Pro rims? One,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was a
Right.
dope wheel.
That was a dope wheel, but the rim is
Dope
always
wheel.
cracking all the time.
Yeah.
So like as soon as there was the Master Pro with suspension, man, we ain't sending rims no more, mate. No one's buying rims.
Right, because the suspension absorbs it, and you don't have to crack your
Exactly.
ram. Yo,
Yeah.
and
So for that alone and the amount of money you're gonna save, yeah, I think go for suspension. But
yo,
for
so
yeah.
Primo said fair points, Cobra, but we can't agree that Worcester is better than Springfield. Whatever. Listen, Primo, you don't live in Worcester no more, homie. So stop trying to rep Worcester. That's not your city no more. You moved. So Springfield wins. Oh man. So Vegan says the V12S suspension felt fantastic with
Trust
exclamation
me.
point.
Yeah. Yeah, that suspension is something else. I don't know, what sort of agreement they have with Fast Ace. They just tune it just right, even better than Leopard. So yeah, but let's see how it lasts, right? Because let's see maybe after 6 months if you'll be having oil leak issues like the old Leopard wheels and see. But in terms of right feel, top notch.
Yeah. Greenmaster Mike said, I agree with Primo if you're into getting your skills better, non suspension, and for racing. But you're absolutely right, Cobra. The suspension is a life and back saver. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's facts right there. Facts. Like, I know that for those. Now, I say that, but I'm talking about our bigger wheels. Now, I still
Mm,
have an A2, no suspension, and
that's
now I have the E20, and I have those to try and teach people and stuff. No suspension.
mm,
So
mm,
those, okay, that's cool. Even though I do want a small wheel with suspension, so I almost bought a Falcon recently, but um, from Linda. But shouts out to Showtime because Showtime picked that up, and I was like, oh, man, I kind of wanted to replace my A2 just
mm,
so I can have suspension if I wanted on a smaller wheel. But I do have those, so they do have their place when people are learning. It's easier for them
mm.
without suspension to try and get the feel and the gist of it. So I still know that's a fact. But after that,
Mm.
suspension, suspension, suspension. So,
There is
um,
the InMotion V6. Have you heard about the V6? Yeah,
yeah, that popped up too.
yeah,
I was like, what is InMotion doing? They are
yeah,
seriously on their Bigot game, like dropping a million
yeah,
wheels at once.
yeah. So the V6 just dropped. So if you're looking for a wheel to teach somebody how to ride,
Mm-hmm.
that could be a good wheel. Yeah, it's pretty
Now,
nice. Simple.
is that one I actually forgot. Does that one suspension?
No, no,
Okay.
it isn't. It's a very simple wheel. It's got fat tires.
Okay.
It's probably, I don't know how fast, maybe 15 miles an hour or something, 70 miles an hour, something really low, speed. It's meant for beginners. It's the ultimate, one of the ultimate, beginner wheels. Because remember when we spoke to Albert, right,
Mm-hmm.
in China, I think,
China.
yeah, the mission of InMotion and quite a few of the wheels manufacturers now, they're all kind of thinking that way, is to push out smaller wheels to get
Mm-hmm.
new customers or new riders back into the community. I don't know what if I could if it's okay for me to ask you this question, right? I don't know how it is in the US, but do you guys
Right.
feel that there's been a slight decline in EUC, new riders? Because I remember like around 2, 3, 4 years ago, we used to have like so many new riders come in. There's more excitement, but there's less of them
No.
nowadays. That's just what I'm feeling. I don't know. Just
What
my.
what I what I what I feel like, and you're right, it is perception, but what I feel
Mm,
like right now is that We have tons of people learning how to ride, but
Yeah.
not as many people buying a wheel right away off the rip. I
Is it
think
because it's expensive?
yes, a
Okay,
hundred percent,
exactly. Which is why.
100%,
Okay.
100%.
Yeah, yeah. Which is what I said earlier. That especially with a company like Nosfet, right, and all the other companies are now they're now thinking because of the economic constraint. It's not just in US or UK. It's all around the world. Everybody's
All
feeling the pain.
around. Yep.
Yeah. So you can't just put down 4,000, 5,000, dollars on wheels like we used to do before.
No, it
Yeah,
hurts.
everybody's kind of yeah. It hurt exactly. And
But
I mean
remember,
I know.
back in the day, 2,200 was a lot. Like
Yeah,
the wheel's $2,200, yo. And then we kept creeping up and creeping up and creeping up, and now
the
we're
Sherman,
4,500, forty
the
six
Sherman started
hundred.
it. The Sherman started it. If you remember, when the Sherman
Yep.
came out, it was like 3K. We were like, whoa, it's too expensive. But it was such a revolutionary, wheel at that time
Mm-hmm.
that people were like, okay, I'll push for it. three thousand
Yep.
six hundred, or watt hour battery, all that kind of stuff. So people were like, it's worth it. And then there was
Yep.
4,000,
Yep.
with again the Sherman. And talking about the Leopard Kim, I've been hearing rumors of a new wheel coming out
Yeah.
soon. The Yeah. So who knows how much that's going to cost?
Yeah, yeah, because their wheels are expensive, and their
Yeah.
wheels are historically you can't get a break on them. It's not like you can get a good
Yeah.
deal like you can
No, no, no.
Begode wheels. Nope, it's like you're gonna
No.
pay for it. It hurts.
It
Um,
hurts.
yeah, crying hippie said the struggle is real, brother, for injured riders who refuse to stop. I think we get forced to stop when the injury is too severe to recover from. Key is knowing when to give up the riding boot. The problem is, man, I, it's hard to stop. I mean, look at Dawn. Dawn Champions back on a wheel riding Mount Baldy. I'm like, what? Yo, her injuries are more severe than like anybody
Anything
I
I've
know,
noticed.
and she
Yeah, I
just
know.
not giving up. And I was actually scared because they were doing
I was.
a night ride on Mount Baldy, and I'm like, uh,
Yeah.
she can't see well because her eyes she still has issues with her eyes, and then other injuries. We all know that she has quite a few. But I was just nervous for her because I was like, please God, don't let her fall. Please Lord, please don't let
Yeah.
her fall. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want her. I don't want to see her hurt because she still has so much further to go for injury's sake to recover. But that's what holds us back: injuries.
I know. To be honest, I'm very amazed at how quickly she recovered.
Mm-hmm.
After she came out from the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden she's back on camera again.
Yep. Yep.
Her spirit is up. I was like, wow, she's
Her spirit
incredible.
is
Like it
always
was,
up.
yeah.
Yeah,
But this, like, she's amazing. I'm
she
still scared
is.
for her. I'm
Yeah.
still scared for her. Like she's got like pins on her elbow. She's,
Yeah. Her
you know,
shoulder
her
is
shoulder
still separated.
is still
And
separated.
they will not
So
fix it. They're telling her she probably has to live with it. I'm like, what? Because it's that
yeah,
damaged. I'm like, oh
yeah,
my
so,
God.
yeah.
That
She's
breaks my heart.
yeah. Well, it breaks my heart, but at the same time, it makes me happy to still be able to see her. Like when I heard about that news,
Mm-hmm.
I remember waking up and I'm thinking, what the seriously? Because it's because it's somebody that you know as well, so well.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
I've met her in person as well. So it's like just like that. That can just happen just like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you could be here today, you could be gone tomorrow.
Yeah. I tell
And
everybody that all the time. You gotta live your best life.
yeah, so for
Because you
everybody
don't know.
saying, oh, don't ride anymore. If you can ride sensibly and make
Yeah.
sure the precautions are
Oh yeah.
there,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Well, I knew she was
and then
gonna ride again. I knew that. I didn't think it was gonna be this soon because I know her shoulder's still separated. The elbow on the other side doesn't function properly. And I know, she's got a lot more to do, so I didn't think she was gonna go on big rides yet. But hey, she has the
she's
personality. I
strong.
mean, the attitude to
She's,
to make it pull it through.
man,
By all
listen,
means.
if half of us have her kind of personality and
Yeah,
I like we will all be successful in life.
yeah.
She's got that get
That
up and go, just
drive.
get it done attitude. Yeah, that drive is just
Her
amazing.
drive is crazy.
Amazing. It's
So
crazy.
so
So
um Stan says, why are the non-suspension wheels just as expensive as the suspension wheels? The non-suspension wheels prices should be half off or more. Well, Stan, I don't think they should be half off, but I do think the older wheels should cost less, a lot less than the newer wheels. I think as the newer wheels come out, the older wheels should go down in price. And they're
Mm.
not because they're still new. So they're like, nah, if you want it, you got to pay for it. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's like we were saying, it's a business thing. They still have to
It's
make
a,
money.
yeah, they have to make money. But I think that a lot of these manufacturers will probably start to reduce the amount of wheels they pump out now,
Yeah.
because it's quite obvious now that quality and safety UL certification is what people want. You can see the way people, so that's what people want. It's no longer the days where you could just slap on, big motor, big battery, and off you go, and just rely on specs alone. Um, yeah, but it's going to be tougher now. I just get that feeling that um, King Song. I hope King Song continues. Especially they just coming out with a F-18.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that to me, I've reading it a little bit. It's a good will, uh, but in this market, you need to come out with something amazing. Like,
Yeah.
whoa, what is that?
Whoa. Yeah, your wheels got to be like, whoa.
Like, whoa, it can't just be
eh.
like well, no, the F-18 is a good will, but you
Yeah.
need a revolution, not an evolution nowadays. You look at the links and you look at the F-18, it's like, okay, the F-18 has got some better things than the links. Well, it's an evolution.
Yeah.
Whereas you want to come out with a revolution, the
Yeah.
race wheel that, yeah,
Something
something
to be
that is
like,
not,
nobody's got that. Whoa, that's
yeah,
different. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
different,
Yeah.
So if you don't come out with something like that, you just don't waste your money because you might
Yeah.
lose money as a manufacturer.
So Anakin said, he said at Primo in Worcester the potholes come with character. In Springfield, they come with a warning and a GoFundMe. Yo, you stupid.
Is it that bad?
We got potholes. There's potholes in both cities. They're bad. They're bad
Wow.
for real. Uh, non-suspension. So Ricardo says non-suspension wheels will be similar to having a car without locking brakes. Well, okay. At a point, cars never had it, and now they all do.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay. Dale says fast ace all the way. Your fast ace is they're just banging out with those suspensions. You can't mess with them. You
No.
know. See, Primo said Hollywood, Florida. Yeah, so he's whatever, man, whatever. So you in Florida? We don't want to hear it. Yeah, y'all get rain too, a lot of rain. So hot. uh, Dale said I've had no oil leakage on my links, and it's done over 10,000 miles. Yeah, people talk about that. If you're gonna get oil leakage or whatever, I've never had a problem. So that's just me. You
Yeah.
know. So let's see. There's all right. So how about we do this? I know we got more in the chat here. There's more. I'm scrolling through. Let's give away some pedals. Let's give away some pedals. So I'm gonna scroll to the bottom right now. Thanks for the
Oh,
super
you mean
chat,
gloves?
Turbo. I appreciate
You
you,
mean
brother.
gloves?
That's what I mean. Gloves. Yeah, gloves. He's the Max P1 glove, the best glove on the market, and we're about to give a set of gloves away. Hold on. Matter of fact, let me go back to the screen here. Let's jump over. So the Max P1 gloves, people. We're gonna give away the Max P1 gloves. So what I need you to do, it says 23 people in the chat right now. Go in and tell me, or give me a number 1 to 23. Give me a number 1 to 23. You can check yourselves and see who has. Oh, actually, I got 23 on there. Perfect. We'll see who has double numbers. If you double numbers, then it's the first one that has it in the chat. So give me some numbers. I see 5. I see a 1. I see a 7. I see another 7. Showtime, you got to pick another number. Green Master Mike beat you to the 7. We got an 8. We got a 9. Yo, one, give me
Hey,
2. Can I get a 2? Can I get a 3? Can I get a 4? Can I get a 23? We got a 23. Can I get a 23? Can I get a 1? Can I get a Give me some numbers. Okay, Showtime, you got 23. Now you got 23. I see you.
okay.
So that should have been your first pick. That's always your number you always go for. We got a 22. We got a 5. We got a 10.
Michael Jordan, man.
Yeah, yeah. She always does Jordan. Let me see. I think we got 2 5. So Chris, you got to change your number. Crying Hippie already got you with that 5. And I don't know if you got. Now we're going according to what I have on my chat. Your chats may be a little out of order. I don't know. So if I'm telling you, you got to change your number. You got to change your number. As a matter of fact, hold on. Let me grab these because those numbers are hurting my eyes. Let me put on my old man glasses. Hold on. All right. We got 5, 11, 7, 8, 9, 23, 17. Oh, there's a duplicate 8. Turbo got 8. Anakin, you got to change yours. Sensei's got 9. Sensei got 9. Got a 16. Primo got 3. Chris is gonna change his number. We got a 10. We got 11. We got. Okay, Sensei, you changed your number. Why'd you change your number? You had the 9, and then you went 11, and Ricardo already had 11. So, cause Super Cat, I see you. I see why you changed it. Super Cat beat you to 9. I got you. So you had to change his 9. Well, someone beat you to 11 also. So I mean to 11. So you got to change again. 14. Turbo, you can't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yo, Turbo, you can't pick all the numbers, man. Stop
Come on,
it.
Turbo.
Yo, 11's gone already. So now 2 people got 11. Look, y'all better look in the chat and grab a different number because I'm going to scroll back and I'm just going to grab a number and see who has it first. Primo said, I think I got 3. Hold on. Let me look, Primo. I'm going to go back to the beginning and see if you got 3 first. Let me see. Primo got 3. Yes, Primo has 3. He was the first one to have 3. So, yeah. I see you tried 8 and 11, Primo, after, but you already had 3. So, Primo's got 3. And then he tried 21. I'm like, yo. So, that 21's still open, I think. Yeah, because Primo, he put in like 15 numbers. Well, no, Turbo put in a bunch of numbers. All right. Hurry up. Think about the numbers. There's still some numbers missing. I don't think I seen a 20. I don't think I seen a 19. I don't think I seen an 18. I don't. So we give. So you can see the Max P1 gloves are pulling it in. They pulling it in. All right, I'm gonna show you again. This is what we're talking about. The Max P1 gloves by E-Rides, the best, hands down, best riding gloves with protection and comfort and all the things you need in a glove. This is the best all-around pound for pound glove ever made for EUC riding. So if you want one, you better throw a number in there because it's going fast. We about to get it down right now. All right, I think I talked enough shit and gave y'all enough opportunity. 55 is too high. Yes, 55 is too high. Yo, you are crazy. Let me back it up. All right, so let's see. All right, going once. You better get your numbers in right now, people. It's about to go down. Get your numbers in. The wheel is about to get spun right here. So, and after whoever wins, make sure you reach out to Afeez and send him a message. You can reach him at all his social media and send him a message, and he'll ship you out your Max P1 gloves, and then you'll be in the club. If you ain't got a pair, you need a pair. Let me tell you.
Yeah, you need a pair.
Yo. They crazy. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to get it on. Let's go. All right. I am going to click it one time. Now, I know that Seth does it, and he does a couple test spins, but I feel like if you test spin it, it's like
Yeah.
I'd be mad if you test spin and get my number, and then the next number that wins is not me. So I'm not gonna test spin it. I am just going to click it one time.
Don't test me. Just
No,
do it.
no test. One time. I'm gonna hit it and quit it. That's gonna be
Do
it.
it
All
one
right,
time.
here we go. Give me a drum roll, people. Are you ready? Let's go. And the winner is 13. 13 is the winning number. Oh
Wow.
my God. Okay. So I'm going to backtrack and see if anybody
Lucky
got
number
13
13.
because I don't even remember seeing a 13. Let's see.
Imagine
Let's see. And no,
Chris.
you can't.
Chris got
Hold on.
13. I say Chris.
Okay, haha. Look, I
No, it's
scrolled down
not.
to the bottom to make sure nobody tried to throw it in now. You hold on. All right, let me scroll down. It hit me. I was like, scroll
Who
down
is
just in
it?
case somebody try to put it in. All right.
Listen,
Yep. Chris. Yep. Chris
is
Raining
it
got a
Chris?
13. Yeah. Chris Raining is the winner, ladies and gentlemen. Chris
Hey,
Raining. Yeah.
hey, Chris. Congratulations.
Yo, Chris, I don't know where you're from, brother. Tell us where you're from in the chat and how good you feel about just winning the unbelievable Max P1
Vegan.
gloves.
I think he's
Yeah,
here
so
we go. Vegan was
yo, Vegan picked a bunch of
it's
numbers,
me. Woo.
but Vegan's first, his first number was 9. That didn't work. Then he got 11. That didn't work.
Yeah.
Did he? Oh, wait. Hold on. Oh, I see why she's saying that. Because he had to change his number several times. So hold on. I think
Yeah.
Vegan did beat him in. Hold on. Scroll back. Vegan
Uh-oh.
does have
Uh-oh.
13. Oh, 13. And yup, my
Uh-oh.
mistake. Vegan did get 13 first because
Uh-oh.
then Chris had to change from 15 to 17. So Vegan does win. Vegan has his is first in the chat. So my mistake. Vegan, Sensei Vegan is the winner of the Max P1 gloves. If you look in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, I can see that he changed his number, got the 13, and then that's when Chris changed his number a couple times, and then he finally settled. So I'm sorry, Chris. My mistake. Sensei Vegan wins the gloves today. But you know what? For my mistake,
You know
I
what?
go ahead.
You know what? No. What I would say is, Chris, you still win something. Come on.
Yeah.
I,
Yes.
I feel bad for him because it was already saying thank you very much and all that. I just feel like yeah.
I think you
That
should
that
send him
that's
some
yeah.
too. I think you should send him.
I'll say it. So yeah,
Yes.
Chris. Look at him. He
Yes.
says feels awesome, and then all of a sudden you're now telling him that he doesn't have it anymore. That's
Yeah.
kind of that's
Yeah.
not
I appreciate you,
yeah.
Afeez,
I'll
because
give
I
you
was about to give him a Wheel Life Rally shirt, but it's not the same. Those gloves are much better. So
it's not the same.
both Sensei Vegan and Chris Renning, you both are gonna win yourselves a prize. So yeah, that's what's up. You both
Yeah,
win the Max
email
P1
me.
gloves.
So what I want to do is email info@erise.com. Can I put it here?
Yeah, you can. I think you can put it in there.
How okay. Yeah, I'm just
Yeah,
thinking.
just put
What
it
do
in
I
the
even
chat,
type?
and then they can send it to that.
Okay, let me see. Can I even chat here? Oh no, I cannot chat. Okay, hold on. So info at
So while he's typing that, you realize that my blind ass not seeing that first, I missed Vegan's number. So look at that. So now we got 2 winners. So you guys are welcome for me being blind.
name,
2 winners. 2 winners.
address, and size. Okay, boom. Do you get that? No, it's a private chat to you.
Oh, you did it in the private chat. Okay. Hold on. Let me
Oh yeah,
then
yeah.
I will
And then
copy
just
and
copy and
paste it.
paste it.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so info at
This
e-rise.com. Name, address,
yep.
and the size
So here we
for
go.
Chris and Sensei.
Yep.
And if we don't, well, we should be getting new batches in soon. So if you don't have the size, you're getting within a week or two or whatever. We always get like new batches in every week. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna put that in the chat. You guys know. Uh, there we go. Go ahead and send that information off to
there we go.
him. He'll get your stuff
Yeah,
and he'll send it out, and you're
yeah.
gonna be happy, happy,
I'll send
happy.
to you.
I love those
No worries,
gloves.
Chris.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
they are
yeah.
nice. Well, a lot of work has gone into them.
No,
So,
honestly, people. I mean, and I know people don't get it when I stress those gloves, and that's because, um, excuse me, I've seen the different iterations. Like
oh yes,
that's
you
what I
have.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I want people to
yeah,
understand, that each time I
yeah.
seen a pair of the gloves, I'm like, okay, these are incredible. Then the next iteration that I seen, I'm like, damn, these are even better. And then the
Yeah.
next ones, I was like, what is going on? He keeps making upgrades to these damn gloves. Like, yo,
You have
you
to. You
that's
have
what I
to.
love, is that you make a product and you're like, I'm not happy with this. I want to make this
Yeah.
better, and you keep making it better. So I appreciate you and what you guys are doing over there at E-Rides, because look, your pedals to
Yes.
me have not been beat
Really cool.
yet. They have
Oh yeah.
not been beat yet. And I
Thank
I
you. Thank
have
you.
look, I have Grizzly pedals, I have Clark pedals, I have all these. Only pedals I don't have are the ones from California that the guy out there makes, that are the silver pedals that Chris, I think is his name, or that Marty and them have. Those are the only pedals I don't have, but
Remember?
out of
Yeah.
all the ones I've ridden on, E-Ride still wins. It's just something about the feel of your pedals.
Phil.
I want
Yeah.
that feel on every wheel. And like,
Thanks, Phil.
and I like, sometimes I don't want to buy a wheel too soon, because I'm like, well, they may not have the pedals for them yet. I may have to wait till you make the pedals for it, then I can buy the wheel. So
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame. It's a shame with the Apex, because I was ready to go with the Apex, but yeah, it's just at the moment it isn't feasible. You know, it doesn't make business sense yet. But we're ready. Like if you guys start buying lots of Apexes, and then hey, I'll put the money in, and I'll make one. Um, but yeah, I'm just hoping that the next Leopard Kim whale, the big boy,
hmm
also has the same,
pedal
um, you
hanger.
know, metal hangers. Then
That would
it
be
just be a
nice.
straight. Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
nice.
that'd be nice.
Although I am hearing that the pedal on that wheel is also good as well.
Yeah.
But obviously, people will always want the e-rise pedals just because of the way it
Uh,
feels and the weight
yeah.
and everything. So
Something
yeah.
about that feel and weight, and that's exactly that. Like, I really
Yeah.
like the Clark pedals, because they did well
Mm.
when I did that crazy jump and snapped the
And
pedal
you.
hangers off of the wheel, and
Mm,
crazy. They feel good, and
mm,
but they're lighter. And there's
mm,
something about the weight of your pedals that
mm,
really feels comfortable, and it feels like the right weight to me. I don't know what, I can't explain it, because Gold pedals are real nice. I like those too.
mm,
Clark pedals I like. Grizzly pedals I like those too.
mm,
But there's
mm.
something about the weight, size, and feel of the E-Rides pedals that keep me coming back.
And when you
So
touch it as well. So the thing, one of the things, and I was speaking to the guys here over a year and a half, nearly 2 years ago now, and I was looking at different products. So I went into Apple Store. I went to some other kind of. I even went shopping sometime with my mom actually, and she likes bags as well. And there's
mhm,
something about when you open a bag or when you open an Apple product,
product. Yep.
it's the feel, right? So I wanted to have a feel that when you open a e-rise pedals, you always have that kind of frosted feel. So there's that
hmm
frosted feel that you have on there.
hmm
Initially, people in our team was like, "Oh, you don't need that; just a waste of time." I said, "No, I want to have that feel, so that not
hmm
just feel when you're riding, but also when you pick it off the box, so you
hmm
feel like you spend a lot of money,
Yep.
but you also deserve that
Yes.
feeling, that initial touch of your product."
That's the
Yeah.
other thing that you give, is and it's funny you just said it, because you hit it before I could even say anything, is the Apple feel, that when I buy your pedals and they come this way,
Mm,
and I get the box itself has a look and feel that makes me
Mm.
go, yum, I got something good right here. And then when
Yum.
I open the box,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yum.
yeah, the presentation, the packaging, everything is
Yeah.
a hit. It's a home run. And I know it was, you guys doing your research and your homework and reiterating and reiterating. And by the way, Ricardo says Afeez is the
Yeah.
new
Yeah.
Bigode with all his iterations on the gloves. So,
But we don't cut out.
right? Well, it's not just the gloves. That's what I mean. That's why I like it. The pedals too. You made changes.
Yeah.
You sent them out. People told you stuff.
Yeah.
You made changes.
Yes.
You
Yes.
said you like that.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
I made more
Remember, like I
changes.
think yes, yeah. I remember like over 2 years ago now. I think I met you in New York the very first time for 2 3 years ago. I met you in New York with the pedals,
Yep.
and I got some feedback from the NYC guys, and they were like, "Oh, I like this, but I don't like this. I like that, but I don't like this." And I was okay, that's fine. We took all that back home, and then we just kind of add more to it, and took some things out as well that we don't think was actually necessary. Um, and then we added our packaging has to be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
But also one thing we realized with the packaging is don't change the packaging too much, because when people get a package and expecting to see something like and they get something else, they don't trust you. It's
Yes.
weird. It's
Yeah.
like a human psychology. You don't know what it is. But I read about this like
Yes.
years ago. So the
So
package doesn't
true.
change. So you know what you're getting. It's
Mm-hmm.
consistency. Consistency. Once you get that packaging filled down, then you just stick to it. So yeah.
Especially when you get it down. See, that's the
Yeah.
key. Is like you
Yeah.
refined it and refined it and refined it, and then you're like, okay, the packaging is just how I like it,
And then you
and and then
and
you're
you
like,
stop.
okay, this is what it's
That's it.
going to be when they get it, because it's the same. If
It's the
I'm
same.
an Apple dude, I got every Apple product almost that they make, and every time I get an Apple product, I know that the presentation is going to be dope. I know that when I get
It's
that
the same.
box, it's going to look beautiful. It's gonna open easily with those pull tabs that pull it around. So it's just you. I don't need a
Yeah.
knife. I don't need to cut it. It just opens nice. And then when I
Mm.
open, it's gonna be like, you got a nice looking product there.
Yeah.
And that's what we get from your E-Rides pedals
Yeah.
when you ship them. I same thing. I get the box and I
Thank
forget.
you.
Like the last pedals that I got from you, I forgot. And then I was like, I forgot how much I love to open these. They just look nice and feel nice. And I'm like, I'm excited to put them on my wheel. I'm like, yo, you knocked it out the park, man. For real. Wheels, I mean
Oh, the
pedals
team
and
did. The
gloves
team did.
are is all you. Yeah. I know you
Gloves.
got
Yeah.
a team behind you,
Yeah.
and I appreciate you're the face of the
Yeah. It's
team,
not just
and
me.
yeah, and but
Yeah.
shouts out to your whole team, your design team, your whole crew at E-Rides. You guys are knocking it out of the park when it comes to that. And it's weird because I'm not the only one that says it. I get a new wheel and I'm like, all right, so how long is it gonna take me to get some E-Rides pedals on it? You know, like
Yeah.
it's a
You get.
thing.
I mean, is the thing. I mean, like, I'm glad that's the thing. It didn't come easy, um, but it is one of those things that if we are going to do another wheel now, because the bar is now, people have that expectation, is
Mm-hmm.
now harder for us, which
Mm-hmm.
it's a good and a bad thing about it. So you can't just be like,
Mm-hmm.
it's okay, I'll just put out whatever pedals out there, because we're just new, the new guy on the block. No, people
Mm-hmm.
expect certain things now, and if it's rubbish, oh my word, especially you Americans, you guys are not scared to
No.
tell me
Oh
if you're
yeah.
not happy. Like, and
Oh yeah. Oh, that's yo. You ain't lying,
it's like,
yo.
hello,
Americans will tell
it's
you
like,
how
I'm not
bad.
happy. I'm not.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yo, that
yeah.
feedback
You
is
guys will say
coming.
your mind, which is great because it's coming exactly. I had it, and it's not just Americans as well. Even some Canadians. So
Oh yeah.
some Canadians also ordered the very first batch of our E-Rise gloves. One thing I like about the Canadians is, especially the ones that I dealt with. If there's any Canadian on the chat, hello. But we get a lot of sales from Canada as well, and They will not go on social media to say I'm not happy, blah 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 blah. But in private, they'll email you and they will let you know. You know, they're a bit more private that way, but they will not go on Facebook and say, "Oh, this is the hub." I'm like, guys, you could have just emailed us and we'll have helped you out rather than go on
Right.
Facebook. But the Canadians, they will let you know in an email, and they're detailed. Everything is a detail. so so yeah, you guys are Canadians and Americans. Yeah, you guys let us know, and you help us
Oh,
as well because the feedback
yeah. Well,
helps.
we're saying it. The good thing is we're saying it because we want it to be better. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
not happy, excuse me, but we want to be happy. We want it to be
yes,
better,
yeah.
and that's what I like,
Mm,
actually, um who was it? Somebody, oh, I can't think right now. Getting old. Um Somebody reached out to me about the Canadian race that's coming up, and I think it's on the 16th of this month. Whoever that was that reached out to me, if you see this, tell me again, because I don't think that was you, Ricardo. I don't remember who it was that reached out to me and asked me if I was coming to the event, and I said I would try. I can't remember. I need to look through my messages and see who that was again, so I can be like, so I can try and get more details, because I really would like to go to the event in Canada, jump over there and jump back real quick. I haven't been to Canada other than
mm,
to
mm,
Niagara Falls, and I went to the Canadian side of Niagara Falls and rode the
mm,
zip line and all that. That was fun. So now I want to go
mm.
there to a race.
Yeah,
That'd be
I've been there
nice.
too.
Yeah. So that's the plan. That's the plan.
Wait, um, are you aware of this? I'm not sure how close you are to this event. It's called the Groundings. You know the Groundings, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys do the
Oh,
Groundings?
I keep
Yeah.
missing the
But-
groundings, but this year, as a matter of fact, I'm glad you said that. I'm gonna write that down to look at
Yeah.
it
When
right
is the next
now.
Groundings? I might if I can come, I'll try to come. But
Yeah.
if I
I
can
keep
try.
missing it in DC. And I want to go because, especially now, my youngest daughter is going to college in DC
Yeah.
now. She's about to
Mm,
start next month. So that's all three of my kids in
mm.
college at the same time. Whew. Anyway,
Congratulations, by the way.
yeah, yeah, yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
congratulations.
She wants to be a lawyer. Uh, she's gonna be a ham for that one. She got all my stubbornness, all like, ooh boy. Anyway, so now I have another reason to be in Washington, but also I'm not working, so I want to make the groundings this year. I always miss it every year. I have to work, and I can't go. The last 3 years I've been trying to get there, so I want to get out there. Shango, what's up? I'm gonna get out to the groundings this year at some point. So I gotta
What date
check.
is it? Do you know when the next one is?
As a
It's
matter of fact,
normally around August, isn't it?
let me pull it up right
Is it
now
August or
if I can.
September?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I'm gonna see. So,
I think
let me.
there was one in Chicago not too long ago that I've just
Yeah,
gone by. Yeah,
let me see. Let me put Washington. It's the groundings, DC, Washington, 2025. Okay, so when I click it,
mm.
let me see. Right, so it's August 29th through the 31st.
August 29th.
So
Okay.
August 29th,
No,
we got, yeah. So it'd be nice to be there like the 28th. Like the day before, So
yeah,
August 28th. I gotta, okay, let me write
you're
that
gonna
down.
yeah.
August 28th, DC. I gotta try and be there because I really hate missing it. And Canada, I I might be wrong. It, it might have been August, but it can't be because my real life rally is August 16th. 15th if you're
Mm,
coming to camp and stuff, but August
mm.
16th is the real life rally, so it couldn't have been that. So I think it was July. I think he said July 16th for that Canadian race. I can't remember, so I'm hoping somebody reaches out to me. Um, Oh, Ricardo says it was me. It's in
Oh,
Montreal this weekend. Oh shoot.
mm.
Oh man. This weekend, Ricardo. Oh, damn it. Let me see. So is it Saturday, Sunday, or is it Friday, Saturday? What is the situation, Ricardo? Hit me up on the side with another message. When you said
Mm.
you were British born and yes, I'm in Canada, I was like, I don't think it was Ricardo. That's why I said it because I saw you posted that. It was Ricardo. So it's this weekend. Okay, hit me up after this, Ricardo. And I really want the information because even though it's short notice for me because I forgot, I thought it was the next weekend. Um, you're gonna miss Canada. I don't know. Come on, man. Hit me with the details. Let me know. And there's a slim chance that I might be able
Mm.
to squeak out of here and get down there. There's a slim chance. It might still make it happen. So let's see. Uh, I thought it was the 16th. I guess I was wrong. It's this weekend. You know. uh, let me know. Is it the Saturday? If it's Saturday, I can definitely try and make it there. But if it's Friday, also, I might not. So anyway, send me a message. Let me know, and we'll make it happen. All right. So Afeez, believe it or
Yes.
not, brother, we've been on here 2 hours. We've
Really?
been on here 2 hours, and I
Enjoyable.
haven't even scratched the surface of things I want to talk about. But um, it's it's exciting to me, and is it dirt or street racing? Anakin's asking. So if you want to put that in the chat, Ricardo, he's asking if the race is dirt or street. Um, but yeah, man, you have been doing a lot, tooling all over the world, and bringing it to. Oh, and I'm mad because I remember in the video we were talking about the V9, and I said grab and go, and you've been using that phrase, and you had it on your video, and people telling me,
Right.
hey, you saw Afeez said a grab and go. I said that. I
You
was
know,
so,
that
oh,
phrase, that phrase,
it
grab and
fits.
go, just
It
it just hits and just stays there and just sticks to
yes,
it because
it
it is
is
grab and
the
go.
perfect phrase. Like it fits all those
It is.
wheels. It,
It
it
is. They are grab and go, and I think that is why. And I know, we're talking about the rocket and this and that.
yep.
The rocket is nearly a grab and go because
Nearly.
it's
Yeah,
hold on,
it's too
it's
heavy though.
nearly a grab and go. It's
Yeah.
just a little bit
Yeah.
too. It's just outside of that, and I think that's
Yeah.
why people are probably going for more for the arrow than the rocket. But the rocket is still a phenomenal wheel in terms of what they're
Hmm.
able to achieve. 168 volts in that small package is
Yep.
ridiculously awesome.
It's crazy.
But people want grab and go. That's the thing. Like they have to understand that it's not just about performance anymore. There are other matrix that needs to be, that they need to consider, and requirements. That is not all about performance and speed and range. People just want to go to the supermarket. They just want to grab the wheel and ride to the supermarket, pick up milk or something or some cereal, and then ride back home.
Yep. No,
You know?
honestly, if I'm going I would love to ride my wheel around the corner and go and just run in and run out. And it does make a difference if that wheel is portable, if that
Yeah,
wheel is lightweight, if that wheel is
yeah,
easy to ride, but big enough to be comfortable also. So
yeah.
I think for me, those wheels have to kind of be they have to like my A2. I can ride my A2 to the store easily, but it don't have a handle. I
No, yeah.
can't walk my A2 because it doesn't have a handle. So without a handle, I'm not taking that wheel to the grocery store. Yeah, I could turn it off and put it underneath the cart. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Now, on another note, it is small enough to ride while I push my cart with it because because I did that in Walmart.
Yeah,
I was riding the wheel
yeah.
and pushing the cart, and they're like, people are looking like, what? Wait a minute.
It was like
So
you were
that's
just gliding,
possible.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
gliding through. But
yeah.
I would like a wheel that has comfort, suspension. It's big enough to be comfortable, like possibly have a seat if I want to sit down. Doesn't have to have a
Mm,
huge seat, but possibly. So the V9, you could
mm.
it's big enough to
You can
possibly
put a
put a
seat on
seat
there.
on. So you could
You
put a
can
seat
put a
on
seat
there.
on there. Yeah.
The C8 I haven't ridden yet, but I think it's tall
Mm.
enough to put a seat on. Although the circular wheels like that look funny with
It's
seats, but
circular.
yeah,
Yeah.
you could still do it, but it looks weird. But it's
Mm,
doable. It's doable. But I like to
mm,
have a handle, be able to
mm.
walk it next to me, um, or just be comfortable with it in a store and not feel like I
Mm.
got a big heavy wheel with me that
Yeah,
people are gonna be like, "Whoa, what is that?" You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
I still want them to be like, "Yo, what's that?" But I don't want them to be like, "What is that big old thing you got in here?"
I
So
mean, the A1, A2, they're also nice wheels as well.
hmm
They're actually quite
oh, the
they're quite
future,
good.
the
Oh yeah, sorry, that's another one.
future,
That's the wheel. That's a very good contender
the
for a grab and go wheel.
future is a great intro, like just lightweight with a fat tire, so it's easy to ride. The
Yeah, the fat tire
future.
actually gives you some slight, suspension esque
hmm
kind of feelings because it's quite big, isn't it?
And they actually made it with a two-wheel version, like the E20. They had that version too.
I saw
And
that.
I think you had to request it. I rode that in China,
Yeah,
and I was looking forward to
yeah,
seeing that. I was like, that's gonna be everywhere. But then they went back
yeah,
to the one wheel, one tire
yeah.
version,
Version.
and that's the
Yeah,
one that they're pumping out. But
yeah,
that's another little grab and go that you can toss in the trunk easily. Yo,
yeah. I think the entire market now is just gonna go towards grab and go. It's gonna be
yeah,
grab and go.
legit,
Yeah,
legit, legit.
legit. Yeah.
So, Showtime said she said bedtime. She's going to bed. All right, later, Showtime. Yo, we about to sign off too. So, is there anything else? I know you got,
Yeah.
you're working with different distributors and you're doing all kinds of
Mhm.
different things. Is there anything on the
Yeah.
horizon for e-rides that you want to mention right now or reiterate right
Yes.
now?
Let me. I think we mentioned this about the jacket. Let me go and grab the jacket real quick.
Grab it,
Give me,
grab it,
give me a
grab it,
second.
grab it. Yeah. Um. So, what was the question mark? Chris, I don't know what the question mark is, but are you saying you got a question? What is it? So I hope you guys are going to be coming to these. I'm going to take this moment. Wheel Life Rally. Make sure August 16th, if you can, make sure you make it. It's going to be one hell of an event.
Hey,
And there's the jacket. There it is.
this
That
jacket,
that
it's
that's his
it's mesh basically, so it's breathable. You have the chest protector pads insert here. It's Kevlar, by the way, so it's Kevlar. You know, can you say this Kevlar inside as well?
Kevlar
Where's the
weave.
Kevlar? Yeah,
Yep.
Kevlar weave.
Kevlar weave.
Yeah,
There you go.
Kevlar weave inside as well. Chest protector, back protector. It comes standard with level 2 protector for free.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry. It just comes with it, and I like it because it's just so comfortable to wear. So it fits really nicely. So the idea here is just to kind of have like a nice. Obviously, I've got my hooded top right here, and then you can
So
just zip
it
it up.
does the new one? Oh, so it does. Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. Does it have zipper and snaps?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's
Yeah,
got the
yeah,
snap,
yeah,
and it's got
yeah,
the zipper as well,
yeah,
and then you got the padding as well. You got a
yeah.
back padding, you got an elbow padding, insert all there, and it's nice because it's so comfortable. You don't have to feel like like RoboCop or something if you
Yep,
if
yep.
you're
No,
riding on the
no.
street.
That's.
It's
I think
just
that is the winner. That's the reason why it's a winner. Number one, it has the chest
yeah.
protector, and a lot of them
Oh
don't
yeah,
have a
yeah. The
chest
chest protector
protector.
is
And like my
yeah.
lazy rolling, I love my lazy rolling jackets. Those have been my staples, but there's no chest protector in those,
Mm,
and that's why when I got one
yeah.
from Beyond Riders, and when I got their jacket, I was like,
Mm.
oh, hold up, there's chest and you got sleeve zips too. Okay, yeah, I like
Oh
that.
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
like
yeah.
I
So
like all that
yeah,
jacket
it's
offers.
meant to be breathable. So what? Yeah.
Air goes in.
So the chest protector thing, a couple of years ago, we did a collaboration with Lazy Rolling,
Okay.
and one of the thing that I requested, this was when we are still pretty young, but back in the days, and I said, we are EUC, so when we fall over, we fall on our face, right, on our chest.
Yep.
So we want our Lazy Rolling E-Rise Edition jacket to have chest protector. And
Mm-hmm.
since then, I've seen a couple of protection gears come out with chest protector as well, which is great, which is
Mm-hmm.
awesome. And I think it should be a must in any PEV jacket. if you don't have chest protector, I would say maybe don't get it. It's a must. So the chest protector is something that we prioritize. But the most important thing here is I wanted something that just looks almost normal.
Mm-hmm.
It comes in green, but also comes
Woo
in
woo.
your green as
Yep.
well.
Yep. Yep.
So it comes in green, comes in red. Yeah, for now anyway. So the red and the green is kind of the two colors we're coming out with.
So did you? I thought you had a white one too.
Yeah, well, the white one, that is the E-Rides Laser Rolling Edition.
Okay, got you. Got
Yes.
you.
Yeah. So that's the. I mean, we can do any color, but it's just that when you're riding and you're riding every day, you kind of want colors that can absorb any sort of dirt or imperfection.
Yeah.
So you go for something like green or black and red, or we,
Yeah.
we might even go with all black. You can do whatever
Yeah.
you want,
Yeah.
but the red kind of pops as well, so people can
It
see you.
does. It does.
And also when you have your ear-eyes glove as well, it kind of complements it as well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I
One
like the
minute, let me
jacket.
get the glove. Yeah, the jacket is nice. Hold on 1 minute. Let me get the
Yeah.
gloves.
So there you have it. They're making that jacket now in the red and the green. Their green is a little bit different, so he reached out and let me know he could do my green. So he's making it a special edition for me, which I appreciate. And yeah, oh look at that, yeah, the Max
Yeah.
P1
So
gloves.
no, so actually, this is the Max P3 gloves.
Oh,
This is the Ronin.
the
So if you
Ronin.
notice, yeah. So we again, but we had quite a few feedback from some of our customers that also ride one wheel and electric skateboards, right? And they said that the slide thing gets in the way of the remote control, and they wanted more freedom. So we said, okay, that's fine. We will not compromise on the wrist protector. That is a must. But we can give you this sort of, this slider,
Palm
uh,
sliders instead. Like,
slider over here.
yeah.
So if you put that on, that makes it a lot easier for you to grab
Ah,
things. So they wanted that. So that's a
okay.
different PEV audience that wanted that. So I know the EUC audience prefer the proper palm sliders, but some market prefer this as well. So this is so in
No, I
here
like that.
there's a soft mesh inside, like a memory foam inside.
Uh
Inside, can
huh.
you see the like yellow
Yeah.
inside the pocket as well? So that gives you a bit of cushion when you fall. So
Okay.
in here actually has a soft padding inside here as
So
well.
just so you guys know, for comparison, I'm gonna pull up the other glove. So if you can look, if you see on the other glove, you can see that it has the palm complete. It has the metal in there. So if you land on your hands,
Yeah, the
it's
plastic.
yeah. Or so you would slide on this before you would
Mm.
hit your hand. But like you said, if you're holding your phone, this is gonna hit the back
Oh
of your
yeah,
phone. So
yeah.
you can hold it, but if you're doing like making a phone call or whatever, that's gonna be on the back of your phone, hitting your phone. Uh, so
Yeah,
those new
that
ones,
as well. So
the P3s, I like those too.
we- we-
Do that again
yeah.
on the phone.
Oh yeah, you can. It works. Yeah,
Move
easily.
the wait, you got to move over a little bit more. There we go, right
So
there. Now we can see it. Yeah, see. So
yeah,
with the gloves on, he's able to use
yeah,
the phone.
yeah. You can. So this three fingers, 1, 2, 3, they're touch sensitive, so you can use. So you don't need to take out your gloves all the time, and
Mm-hmm.
if you want to use your phone, if it's too cold, for example, you don't want to be taking out your gloves all the time. It's just use it. It's not obviously it's never going to be as good as your fingers because that's just lots of that's just the fingers. But this is as close as it's probably going to get,
Yeah.
and you also have that protection as well. So if you hurt your pinky, at least you will not break it. And this is why we have that here. Yeah, and then you've got that protection. You still have some movement, but it wouldn't go further than this, so you don't snap it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it goes well. I went with the red because it just goes well with it.
It does. It
So
does.
yeah,
I think those are really nice, but I think I like that one better. I think better than the one with the
This
other
one.
one. Yeah, I think I like that P3 better because you're right. You can hold things better, but you still have palm protection if you
Things.
fall. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is what I mean. This is what I
Yeah.
mean.
So yeah,
You don't stop
yeah.
iterating, man. You keep
No,
listening
you
and
can't stop.
perfecting. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, you gotta keep going. You gotta keep going. Yeah. So there you go. So this is the P3 Ronin. It's called, well, codename Ronin,
Yeah.
um, and it's, yeah. This has been quite popular. Like we've not really advertised this out there. It's just we just put on the website and it just started to sell. Because I assume people might not like it that much, but I guess they do. So
I like it. I like it. I like it because you can do more with your hands, and I do a lot while I'm riding. I'm switching cameras,
yeah,
taking out
yeah.
batteries, using my phone, doing all kinds of
Yeah,
stuff. And the more I can do
yeah.
without interference, the better. So, damn, just when I thought your gloves couldn't get any better, then you make another adjustment, man. You are,
Mm,
yo,
mm,
that's crazy good.
yeah.
Crazy good. Okay. So, all right, people, there you go. Go ahead and get the gloves. Go ahead and get the jacket. Go ahead and get the pedals. E-Ride's got you covered. Afeez
Yeah.
is the man. I look forward to hanging out with you again, brother.
Yeah.
In Malaysia. So
Yes.
that's what I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna put it out there in the atmosphere. Put it out there so that it just happens. Uh, Only one thing though. You cannot throw any more bricks
What's
at
that?
me. You can't throw any more bricks at me on the ride. No more brick
Yeah.
flipping on me to make me almost fall. So I fell at the
That was not my
bottom.
fault. I didn't even know you were behind me.
Yo, you flipped
I
that
didn't even
brick
know
and
you
I
were
scared
behind
the
me.
shit out of me. I was like, oh. We were riding in China
Oh
and
wow.
Afeez almost killed me.
Yeah. Oh
So
boy.
anyway,
It
we'll
won't
ride
happen
again,
again. I
bro.
promise.
Yeah. Yeah. All right,
We will.
people. Thank you for joining in. I appreciate all of you. Make sure you go back and hit the like button. If you're watching this on a playback, please go ahead and hit the like button. Share this out. Tell people about it. Let other people watch. Me and Afeez just had a good chat. I'm gonna continue bringing more people. I am gonna bring some more one wheelers on also because I feel like we should be one big happy family. And I get a lot of one wheel riders at the Wheel Life Rally, which is
Yeah.
next month, August 16th. It's only a few days away. So if you know, oh, somebody from Ecuador reached out to me. He's coming to the Wheel Life Rally. I'm
Mm,
like, okay,
mm.
yo. So I'm loving it.
Oh, from
So
Ecuador. Wow.
Ecuador. Yep. I was like, okay, buddy, I'll see you there. He's bringing his girl too, and yeah, it's gonna be a whole thing. So I'm happy that we're getting so many people that are coming to the rally. Um, oh yeah, that's the piece that comes out of the
Yeah.
back of the gloves. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can
So
take it out if it's too stiff.
yeah, if it's too stiff, if you don't like wrist protector, you want some freedom, you can also take it out,
Yep.
and then yeah.
So if you want to talk to Afeez, reach out to him on his social media. You can reach him. He's very responsive. You may have to wait for a time change because he's often on the other side of the planet, but you know,
Yeah.
he will get back to you eventually. And if you need
Yeah.
to reach me, you know how to reach me on all my social media platforms and on my YouTube stuff. So I'm glad you guys jumped in. I love you guys. I appreciate you following and watching and adding questions and stuff. Afeez, I thank you again, brother, for taking the time out of your schedule.
Thank you.
Uh, Tell your wife
Thanks.
hello, and you know,
Yeah.
give your team a high five for me. Tell them that they're knocking it out the park,
I will do.
and we'll see you again on the next one. All right.
All
All right.
right. Thank you so much. Bye
You
bye.
guys have a great night.
Thanks. Bye bye. Bye.